Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are here yet again on a Tuesday to talk about some Star Wars, The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 10, Retrieval, and then also 1923, the season finale. I mean, we'll get to that eventually. Now, personally, I had a hard time remembering what happened in Retrieval. And so I felt like maybe I should maybe do a recap trailer. So we're just gonna real quick, we're
Good
gonna
idea.
check out this trailer so it can help jog my memory
Yeah.
Wait a
of
minute.
what
Great
happened in Retrieval. So we'll get this. Oops.
Oh man.
I'm just imagining it's
All
like
right.
okay.
I totally messed that up.
I'm imagining it's like the
wanna-
UHF guy
okay.
when he opens up the box, the woman
Yeah,
picks
yeah.
the box and he goes,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
You are
Okay.
stupid!
What did I do wrong? Oh, here we go. Do you guys see that? It's gonna be
we
so
see it.
fun.
Red Snapper.
Yeah, here we go.
The sun. The style. The spectacle of the international musical stage triumph.
I don't remember a music.
Can you guys guess what it is?
Oliver.
Oliver.
We
Yep.
solved the day.
Yeah.
We
That's
saw the
exactly-
title.
Oh yeah. It's Oliver. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's. I mean, this is basically the episode. I mean, that's basically what it was.
I have seen
Um,
that. That's an Oscar-winning film, isn't it?
You've seen that movie?
Oliver, yeah, the musical version of Oliver Twist.
I think he's frozen.
Is he like
No,
shocked?
What is happening?
His eyes are moving.
What is happening?
If
What do
I
you
have
mean,
a
what's
question,
happening?
I'm really asking what is happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. Some highbrow stuff. Yeah, no, it's highbrow stuff. I mean, we're here to entertain, Rhett. I mean, we're trying
Won
to
5
look.
Oscars.
Yeah,
Did it
Best
win? It did
Picture.
win Best
yeah,
Picture.
it won
Best
Best Picture.
Director.
Yeah,
Best sound.
No, not the musical. The musical did not win Best Picture.
Oliver exclamation point. I'm pretty sure won Best
that
Picture.
was the movie.
I thought it was no. There's a musical and there's a black and white movie that won
No, this
Best
is-
Picture.
This is the color one right here. Oliver, 1968.
Yes.
We don't say that
Best
word
Picture
anymore.
winner.
Right.
I think I
Oh,
watched
this is
the
what
wrong
the-
Oliver.
If you tuned in wanting Bad Batch, you got something better.
Yeah.
Then way
Mikey,
better.
Mikey didn't actually complete the AFI list. He no.
I guess I didn't. Wait a minute. I don't remember watching the musical. I thought I watched some black and white Oliver.
1968. Oliver.
Yeah,
Best Picture.
I have
John
seen
Wolfe.
this.
Best Director. Yeah.
It's a musical.
I think I watched it on the Criterion Channel. Shout out.
Michael's own
God.
joke went over his head.
No. I'm confused about the Best Picture thing. The Oliver thing
He
is
was
in
nominated for 11 Oscars.
Reference... Okay.
That's as
fine.
many as
Won
Joker
5.
was nominated.
Best
for.
picture, best director, best sound, best art design.
Art direction, set
Something else.
I guess it's a good
decoration,
movie.
and music score of a
It's
motion
cute.
musical picture.
It's cute.
Maybe I did watch.
Yeah,
the
68 was a rough year for movies, though.
68. Yeah, it was. You're right. Okay, so let's dive into Retrieval. This was this was a two-parter basically, even though they didn't, air them at the same time. Yes, it's like the prequels of the Deucecast-ness.
Awesome.
Hey,
Yes.
tell you how
I was
old
about
I
to
am.
say
Let
that
me tell you
depends
how old
on.
I am. I once dated a girl born in 1968.
Mm,
Wow. Well,
Cougar.
she was robbing the cradle then, wasn't she?
A little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Dang, dude. Va 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 boom. Little
Graduate action.
yeah, little graduate
Mrs.
action. there.
Robinson.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it wasn't.
Cougar. Dated a cougar.
Something like that. Big Star Wars fan. She had Slave One from back in the day, and
well,
no,
Brad,
whoa,
I know
whoa,
we
whoa,
don't
whoa,
call
I know.
we don't call
I know
it
we
slave
don't. We do
one.
that. Yeah, we do. And she had.
You said it was a
had
colored
Yoda's,
picture and Slave
She had
One.
that
That's
Yoda's
two strikes.
Dagobah playset still.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
I had the
phone
Dagobah.
doesn't hold up after 30 years.
Right,
Yeah,
sir. It is Boba Fett's spaceship.
Oh, right.
Starship.
That was
Starship.
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 Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I could have called it Hut Slayer 1.
Yeah, that's what they call it for a minute. Hut Slayer. Well, no, that's Leia.
That's
Leia
Leia.
is Slave Leia's Hut Slayer. Yeah,
Hut
she's
Slayer now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous.
Well,
So-
they changed aren't they changing all the James Bond to be less offensive too?
Yes, they're
Yeah.
doing that now. Also, they're going back to Ian Fleming's original novels.
Oh,
Yeah, they changed the character's name too. There's now it's front hole galore.
Stop it. Stop it. All right. This is already starting well. This is already starting great. Melissa's not going to show up if you keep that crap up.
what are they changing Octopussy to?
No, Octopussy's it's fine. It's just Octopus.
Octafront hole?
Holy, Octafront Holy. That sounds like
It's got a
like an
song.
Italian
Having it. It's got a song with the name in it, so it's you can't touch that.
Whatever. All right. So retrieval. I'm
Mandalorian.
trying to
tomorrow.
be positive about the Bad Batch. I will because it's not the animation is so good that
Sure,
it makes you want to like it.
maybe.
It does. And I don't understand
Look,
like the point. Of
I don't
this
even watch
episode.
these episodes on the day they come out anymore. I watch
Oh
them.
no, I don't
I
either.
watch them the day we're doing this broadcast.
I
because
probably should, so it'll be
I
more fresh on
just-
my mind.
this just doesn't matter to me until we get to things like the midseason or the finale.
Yeah,
because the plot's not moving forward. I mean, this
Well,
whole
apparently it's going to
side
finally
tangent-
start. It's going to now that they've got their ship back.
There wasn't
it's
even
gonna
a lesson the Bad Batch learned this week. It was literally them moving the plot forward for other people.
No, there was a little bit of lesson. Just I guess the Empire is allowing for things like this to happen, allowing for these
And-
remnants to
And
How
the
does
Empire
that
isn't
rise
the
up
only,
in power.
How does
They're not
that,
the only bad entity out there.
Yes,
okay.
I mean that's basically what
That's
they're
just
showing.
life. I
Yeah,
don't-
see, exactly. Look, this is exactly right.
Woo.
It was quite the commentary about food scarcity and modern day slavery.
You ought to swap all these guys out for him. Have him on the show. My
Yeah.
gosh.
I
I
got
mean-
but I feel like we've seen the bad boss who takes advantage
Right.
of his workers and cuts
Yeah.
their pay and lies about all this stuff
Yeah.
a billion
mean,
times. Maybe not in
Unkar
Star
Plutt.
Wars.
No, on
But-
Carplet.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we have seen
Yeah.
that. No, this is not new.
portion.
Yeah, this is not new to Star Wars. And it's fair. I understand the themes. I get the themes, but I honestly don't care about the themes. I don't-
Starve.
I mean, I don't care about these cartoon characters.
For a second when they showed the mines, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be like Temple of Doomish, but then it never really
Right.
was, and I was kind of like,
There was
oh.
a couple of things. I mean, there
Yeah.
was a couple of action moments, like Hunter having to go on the bridge. I mean, there was some good there was some good stuff in the episode, but it's just something I feel like they could have probably mashed those two episodes together and still delivered 22 minutes of a good episode.
Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of
Uh,
like when you take a comic book story and spread it over 4 to 6 issues when it could have
Mhm.
been 1 to 2 issues. That's a big problem in the industry currently.
Like for some reason they're really pushing this 16 episode thing on Bad Batch, and I don't understand it. Like that
Yes.
these
Content.
two episodes and look, well,
Brian-
the problem
Brian brings up a fair point, though. I mean, I'm
No, he
being a bit
does.
harsh
He does.
because I'm
No,
letting
he
my
does.
my feelings of the overall series seep into this episode. But
I mean, if it was content though, if
Well,
they were
what else-
worried about content, they shouldn't be overlapping Bad Batch
Well,
and
but,
Mando.
but they're different. What day does Bad Batch come out?
No, they're not
Wednesday.
different days. They're
Same
not different days at all. It's
Well, never mind.
Wednesdays.
Then. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I thought maybe if you're Disney Plus, you
No.
want people to tune in every day, right?
Yeah.
So
Sure,
you
but-
have original programming basically pop every day.
They don't.
But-
It's
but they're
always
doing it-
Wednesdays or Fridays.
right,
Well, I
want to
know.
know the hilarious thing? It was supposed to come on at the same time as Andor.
hmm They
Oh,
pushed it to
they pushed
Mando, basically.
And-
Well, it's wise though. I mean that they don't need to distract from Andor. That was too good to be.
No, nothing.
They
could
shouldn't
get
be
more
distracting
Andor.
from the real Star Wars show, Mando. But to Rhett's point there,
yes.
it was what I don't get about Disney Plus is the idios. They're stupid, just like me,
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
releasing the episode so late at night in the early hours
Yes.
of the morning.
It should really be prime time. It should
look
be
at the shows that are like HBO is the best at this. One,
Well-
they show it on their network, sure. But most of the people are watching that on HBO Max. Those shows
Yeah.
are cultural staples, whether it's
And
White Lotus, Succession,
premieres
Last
on
of Us.
HBO Max at the same time it is
It does.
premiering on the
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah.
So
So
you can
you're
watch those
saying
shows
that
live.
in those cases, now we used to do it for things like Game of Thrones or Westworld
Yes.
when it was not a steaming pile of
Yeah.
filth.
I got caught up for season 8 just to do
I mean,
that.
you came to the TV, and watched it, and you
Mhm.
interacted with. I would interact with people online immediately after, right?
Yeah.
It was a very
Yeah.
focused conversation.
I'm on Twitter during it.
Yeah.
So there's no, So there's no. You're just because of this release schedule, you get people just scattered about. I mean, some people
Yep.
stay up, some people watch it when they wake up in the morning, some people
Yeah.
watch it over lunch. So there's
Hey,
no
it's
consistent-
Friday at 3:00. I'm off work early. I just watched the new episode of Mando. You're
Now-
those comments are just going into the void.
In the case of Bad Batch, I'm fine with that being a Wednesday night at 3 a.m.
For sure.
Whatever. But Mando, absolutely, that should be a prime time separate release where people are watching it together.
I mean, they shouldn't be. It's not like a server overload worry. I would
It may
think.
be. I mean, it's possibly
For sure.
could
And
be.
if it is,
But-
that's
but
a
if-
really bad job by Disney.
I was
But
about to say, if it
HBO,
is,
HBO
like-
they broke what something broke HBO here.
Oh yeah. What was
If it
that?
is,
Dragon, I don't know if
they
it was
could-
House of Dragon did.
could
The
beef
first,
up-
just the first episode.
yeah.
you could beef up your servers, and I mean,
Well,
there's
they're
all kinds of
already
things you
bleeding
could do.
money, though. I mean, they don't. I don't think they want to invest a whole lot of infrastructure because they're losing their shirts at it.
Yeah.
Who do you think Bad Batch? And I didn't watch, so you can tell me to shut up and not distract from any of this if you want. But who do you think Bad Batch's target audience is?
Mostly kids. I
Is
think
it okay?
they're trying.
So then
pulling
it should not
kids.
come out at 3 a.m. It should come out at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Not
Well,
even
but
prime
also
time.
you're talking about if it's geared towards that
Or
generation.
Saturday morning.
You're talking about the on-demand generation, anyways. That
For
doesn't
sure.
wait for they don't care about premiere times.
Well, but
They-
if you, I mean, some portion of them will. Some people will look forward. I'm looking forward to Mando. a lot.
Yes,
So I'm
Yes.
faced with the decision: do I want to
Do you
see
watch
it at
it?
2
Yeah.
a.m. tonight,
right.
Yeah.
or because past that I just catch it whenever? If
Yeah.
it comes on at 7 o'clock, then I can't. I'm like, kids, we got to eat. We got to
Yeah.
eat dinner early. Daddy's got to
Yeah.
be in front of the TV, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think there's great merit to that.
Mhm.
But it's not just. I mean that happens all over that happens across the board, right?
It does. Yes.
There's a difference in your streaming, your shows intended for binge watching, and
Mhm.
your episodic, steady releases.
Mhm.
Those binge watchers just release them whenever. Who cares? Drop
Yeah,
it at
yeah,
2 p.m. But these things that you want conversation about, you want that week.
You want the
You ought to
zeitgeist.
start it. You ought to start it with a hard hit at a reasonable time.
Yeah. I mean, and it.
And that's
Like-
look, I think Mando's release strategy in terms of streaming shows has been one of the more successful release strategies because you look at things like Stranger Things. The conversation for Mando continues and
Yeah,
continues on.
no,
week
it
to week.
needs to be
It's very
weekly, yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
Whereas Stranger Things, it hits, it's huge, and then it
Mhm.
goes away really quickly.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
thankfully,
the
they did split up
discussion is
that.
different. The style of discussion is different with a show like Stranger Things or Cobra Kai or whatever. You basically, when you discuss it, you discuss all of
Yeah.
it. You discuss the
My favorite
overall
Netflix
thing.
show, Outer Banks.
There's no guessing.
Or
I've
There's
heard that.
no
Oh,
who is that Mephisto?
yeah. Or you haven't seen episode 7 yet?
Well, I mean, Brian, to comment on that. Oh, am I frozen?
No,
Red is.
Red is.
Oh, Rhett is. I thought Rhett screwed me over. I was like, what the heck happened? So Tales of the Jedi was short.
He's back.
Like, that's why they did that, because it was just like short snippet episodes.
Mhm.
I mean, it wasn't
And same thing
considered.
with Visions.
Vision.
And
Wasn't
same
a
thing
coherent
with
story.
Visions. Yeah.
It wasn't there, and they weren't. It wasn't like a connected story.
Well, there was
No.
three different. Yeah, there
Right.
was three
Yeah,
different
they're
blocks.
They're just
Yeah,
unrelated. It's like an anthology. So
Mhm.
kind of. Yeah.
They're
So,
kind
I
of
mean,
filling in the gaps for Clone Wars. Almost.
I guess my only
Mhm.
I guess my only problem with Bad Batch is if they knew that they were going to either air it during Andor or air it during Mando. They knew they were going to air it during something.
Yeah.
I would have edited the episodes to not drag out for 16 weeks. And they didn't. I mean, they did edit them a little bit, so we're getting 13 weeks instead of 16, I guess, because they have 3 two-parters. The season finale is a 2-parter or whatever. So, I mean, they did a little bit of that. Like they're airing them in a way where you're only having to watch it for 13 weeks. But still, I mean, there's no one that's going to choose to watch Bad Batch at 2 a.m. over Mando tonight.
No.
Or tomorrow morning or whatever. I mean,
And
that's
And
not
they're not
I'll
going to
be
stay
up-
up an extra 30 minutes to watch Bad
exactly.
Batch.
Right.
They're just going to go to bed after they watch.
Yeah, I'm coming home after work and watching Bando immediately, and then Bad
I mean, I'll
Batch
probably watch
later.
it during the day. I mean, I'll probably watch it during the day at some
You know,
point.
lightweights. I'm gonna watch it. At 2 a.m.
I'll be
Dude, I
watching
have
it at
one-
1 a.m.
Michael said it. You brought it up.
I
the other
know.
You
I
did.
know. But 2 a.m. I thought about it, and it's really late. I'm old, man. I can't do it.
That's why Mountain is the best.
I love Brian's optimism. The Bad Batch numbers
No, I
will
mean
be
they
up
probably
because of
will
it.
be.
They
Yeah.
probably will be.
Those things do flood over typically, but yeah.
day.
Now, if the episodes somehow connect, even in just a little way, but
Nobody's going to.
literally
Why would
this-
anybody who isn't already watching Bad Batch start watching this episode? Because this episode releases, they're not going to start there. If anything, they'll start from the beginning. And if they already weren't interested in it, they're not going to start at the beginning. So I think
But
it should have
also-
no impact.
But also, Rhett, I mean, most of the streaming things, when they measure the streaming numbers, they talk about the show in totality.
yeah.
So the numbers for that would just go up in general.
Mhm.
Is he frozen again?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
No, I'm back.
He's back now.
Okay. Yeah, they measure
So you do this. Yeah, that's the last I saw.
they measure the shows in totality. So like if people are starting at season 1, the numbers still go up in a lot of charts.
Yeah.
There are episodes.
Right, but I don't think nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, look what else released today. I want to go back 30 episodes and start from the beginning or whatever." No, they're not going to do that. No, you're either watching Bad Batch or you never will.
Well, and if you're watching Bad Batch, you need to have seen Clone Wars at least.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think so. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
poor Rat.
Oh, is he frozen again? Oh my gosh, dude.
He'll get better.
Okay, so let's talk about the episode a little bit. I mean, just to honor the episode.
Yeah.
We had a new character, a couple new characters. Obviously, we had Benny.
Yep.
Voiced by a pretty consistently famous, voice actor Yuri Lowenthal. I mean, that guy,
Spider-Man.
that guy's exactly. He's been in the business for a long time, and so we find this weird, and I guess this is kind of a consistent thing in Star Wars. Also, these people that will take small children and make them do work for them. I mean, Unkar Plutt did that.
Apple?
What?
Like Apple.
Like Apple, yes. Unkar Plutt did that. Obviously, he was having anybody, work for him, and
Yeah,
And-
I think there's a commentary about society in general. I mean, we take the kids out of the mines and then they go and buy Minecraft now. And they... No, that's an internet meme from like 2
Right
years
back in
ago.
Well, obviously,
it's obvious that young children have a desire to mine.
Yeah, they yearn for the mines. That's the meme. Yeah.
Don't take them out of their natural habitat. Put them back in the mine.
I
And
don't
that's
know.
how we'll make America great again.
I love it when we get to the Trump impressions. But even, I mean, the Emperor obviously did that. He had kids become stormtroopers. I mean, you got Finn who was taken as a kid
Conscripted soldiers.
Conscripted, yeah. So this is like conscripted soldiers also in a way. I mean, this guy that is very much like, what was that character in Solo, the big worm thing?
That lady, whatever.
Lady Proxima.
Lady Proxima, yeah.
It's like that concept. It's like you've got all these people that are working for you, doing your bidding, because you're kind of. And now this was an alien I didn't recognize. I don't know what type of alien this guy was.
I didn't know either.
I thought at first maybe he was a skinny Unkar Plutt, like
His
type
name
alien.
Moko.
Something like that. It was a dumb name, whatever it was. But he had the cool like claw arm, and he had some cool droids working for him. So there was some okay stuff in this.
He does not have a character name on Wikipedia yet.
He's Moko.
No,
He's
it's
Mokk.
Moko. Yeah,
I'm sorry, not a character name, and Character species name.
Species.
Yeah.
name.
Species name.
So he's like
His
Yoda.
character does not have a species name. Yes.
Interesting.
He's a Moko. I can't wait till we see baby Moko.
No thanks.
Wikipedia is usually on that. They usually will update those.
Oh, it means
things
that
pretty quick.
means that there's been no DK book. So
There's been no DK book. Well, I mean, StarWars.com used to do like rundowns of the episodes, and then I don't think they do that anymore.
I don't even watch it as Star Wars.
I know, right? They don't even see. StarWars.com doesn't even watch it. They have other types of articles on their website.
Pablo doesn't even watch it.
I haven't. I
Steve
don't know.
Sansweet has no memorabilia from it.
That's definitely not true. That's definitely
someone
not
donates Omega, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" Django Fett?
Django Fett. So yeah, I mean, it was just a means to an end to get their ship back. Basically, Gonky was a big help this episode, so it was nice to see Gonky. Yeah, it was nice to see a Gonk droid be a
I'm making
hero.
waffles.
Well, how is he a hero?
Because she was able to ping him and figure out where the ship was.
Said we'll ping him, and then they just did, and then
he's a hero because he was there.
That's the part of the show that drives me crazy. Is like, don't call him Gonky.
Wait a minute.
Call him a real droid name.
I think my favorite part of the episode was Omega being like, "We could just ping Gonky," and then Tech was like, "That's a brilliant idea." And it's like, Tech,
right.
Why didn't
The guy that would usually think about that, he did not think about pinging Gonky.
Was it another girl boss moment?
No. It was just like, why did Tech not?
Why did Tech
Like,
not
yes,
come
I
up
was
with-
just also
yeah.
running,
That's a typical girl boss move. Is you make a male character dumber so that the female character can shine through. I mean, that's a standard move.
I don't know if I would consider Omega
Girl boss has a different
girl
definition
boss.
in my generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Are you calling Rhett
just
old?
called Rhett old?
Oh my
In your
God.
generation, you just called Rhett.
Holy crap! Now, excuse me, I need to go outside and yell at a cloud.
Girl boss.
Here you go.
But yeah. So hopefully this season picks up. I mean, I just don't understand what we're doing here. I hope there isn't a season 3. I'll be honest. Like, I hope they don't have a season 3 of this show. It seems unnecessary.
I just want to know, like, what are we leading to? If it's not the death
Exactly.
of all these characters, like,
I would like a season 3 if they position it and release it at a different time. Like,
and stop having 16 episodes. You don't need 16 episodes.
yeah,
of it.
I
Cut
really
down
think
the
8 would be
episodes.
perfect.
8 or even 10. Heck, you could do 11. You're streaming. You don't have to adhere to a network.
Yeah, do whatever fits the story. Don't fit your story.
Write
to
a story and be
that.
like, okay, how many episodes is this?
Yeah.
And if we get it,
Sometimes your
in between
your third
shows.
season can be the best one of all, like Picard, for instance.
Yeah.
And maybe Mando. I mean, we don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe
it's a
Mando.
high bar.
Yeah, I don't really know how you top season 2 finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well, you undermine it, and then
All right.
You take its value away, so then it's an easier ladder to climb.
They already did that with Book of
Look,
Boba Fett.
They always knew they were going to bring
I wonder how many people are
Grogu
going to
back.
tune in and be like, "Why the hell is Grogu back?"
a lot.
I bet
A
you we
lot.
get a very big previously on.
It was 2 years. He was with Luke for 2 years, apparently.
Yeah.
I was
wanna work
hoping we
that
would get to
timeline out for
this.
me?
I was hoping we would get to the 2-year thing. I mean,
I'm not picking up this reference. Did they say that?
Oh,
Favreau
Favreau
said
said
that
Favreau
today.
says
Today in an
Yoda.
update.
Oh, so no, it wasn't. It wasn't a quick undo. He was that Mando's taking place over years, so he trained with Luke for 2 years. 2 years.
Mhm.
So let's think about what happened.
yes.
Luke comes and gets him, right?
Yeah.
Then basically the next scene is Boba Fett taking over.
Right.
We don't know when
shooting
Boba Fett took over.
We don't know. That's what we don't know. Is that's what's unknown is how long,
now-
how much time
We are
did
we are meant to believe that he got his outfit back and then goes and does it.
In the context of Book of Boba Fett, I could believe that Grogu had been there for a year.
yeah.
Maybe couple months.
So
I can believe years.
So Mando was without a ship for 2 years as well?
Well, he was with the Sand People for 5 years.
No, Mando.
Mando. Oh, right. What
Right.
did he do? He did just hang out and do nothing.
It's like in a video game when you have to go to the bathroom. He just stands there
Yeah,
and
just
is doing this
like,
type of thing.
yeah.
Look,
on a cliff.
we're not going to Favreau for timelines. We're going to the DK books for timelines.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, Favreau. In fact, Favreau might have just undermined a forthcoming DK book.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know.
Adam
Well,
Bray's out
the
there
truth
somewhere
is,
punching the
I know.
air.
Yeah.
The timeline answer is probably somewhere in the dialogue of Book of Boba Fett. But Favreau knows no one will ever watch that again.
And
so
he didn't
can
even
say
write that
whatever
show, did
wants.
he?
What?
Did he write Book of Boba Fett?
He
No,
probably
didn't,
wrote
but-
those
but-
two
but
interstitial.
There's something in Boba Fett that sets the timeline and I think it's short. I think he took the throne. He immediately was challenged, and he started looking for help, and he got Mando to show up to help him, and then Baby Yoda's back. All right, that's like 8 weeks.
I think it could have been easy.
John Favreau was credited
As a story
as
or
created by and written by.
Those 2 episodes.
Yeah,
No, all 7. All
I think
7.
he now that I think about it, he did write Book of Boba Fett,
Yes.
Okay.
He wrote
Oh.
all 7.
which is not.
And
that's
Filoni
not
helped write
yeah,
one.
right? You scratched that right off the old CV, right?
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett was, I think, a bit rushed. And anyway,
Well,
we don't
that's one
need
way
get
to
into
say it.
that. And also, it was hindered by COVID as well. They were shooting.
And
it
also,
around.
it was hindered by idiocy.
Stop it.
and-
Stop
There
it.
is
Look,
some dumb.
there
stuff
was
in
some
it,
awesome stuff in that
but there's
season.
also
At
I-
the firing range, I do a twirl right before I shoot every time.
Stop it.
make sure
Look,
you're
the last 3 episodes were good.
Yeah, make sure you get
Oh.
a full 360 around, or you end up shooting a guy behind.
I
you.
loved Black
Yeah.
Chrysanthemum. Or I'm sorry, we're supposed to just say
episodes-
Chrysanthemum now. I think.
episodes 5 and 6 are legitimately great to me,
But-
and they're the Mando
What's the
episodes.
difference? What's the difference?
But that to me has I have a lot of hope for season 3 because of that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mando works.
But yeah, right, yeah, okay. I'll that doesn't redeem Book of Boba Fett, but it may
No.
give you hope for
Do
Mando
you really
3. I'll
think
allow that.
though that everybody who watched season 2 of Mando is not going to go ahead and watch Book of Boba Fett also?
I
haven't
already
heard
know
anybody
I
mention
know a woman who has not watched Book of Boba Fett, and
Because it had
anyway,
Boba Fett's name in
Yeah,
it.
you had
because it didn't. She didn't
Yeah,
think it
you-
mattered.
Yeah, but
Oh.
Mandalorian was a cultural touch point because of
Yeah.
Baby Yoda. You had people watching it that did not watch Star Wars or sure not watching Bad Batch, and they didn't care anything
Right.
about Boba Fett. Even though Boba Fett was moderately cool when he shows up in Mando, you're not going to follow him over to your other story that is. And then if you're waiting to see about it and you hear people talk about it, you know I can skip that one, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I think there are a lot of people going to be surprised when they show up to. And,
I
and
do
Baby Yoda.
think there's going to be a previously.
Well,
on-
there will be, but
Yeah.
still, people will be like, "Did I miss an episode?
Oh yeah.
What am I? What that is? I don't remember any of this."
When we
Did
see
I
Luke in
have
the
a
previously on and Ahsoka on that planet, that's going to
Yeah.
be like the most paused screen in TV
Right.
history because people
People
are Googling what?
Yeah,
What
who
just
are These
happened?
people.
All right, let's get back to Bad Batch. Because Brian does
Boy,
well. Because Brian's asking some good questions here.
Hmm.
Predictions. What were our predictions for last year? I want Omega to meet her clone brother.
Michael
so
definitely said that Boba Fett is going
that
to.
was Boba Fett. Yeah, I mean her clone brother is Boba Fett.
Or maybe
I mean,
that was a prediction for Book of Boba Fett. You said Omega was going to show up in that.
I thought she
What a
would.
terrible-
They should have. They're not.
Who was
Why?
Mephisto?
What?
Who was Mephisto?
I see exactly.
I never bought
Um,
into that, Rhett. I never
Oh,
bought
bull
in.
crap!
No, I didn't. I literally, Mikey can attest to this. I never bought into Mephisto.
Maybe
No,
he
he
didn't. I don't know.
Every week it was.
It's all a
who's
blur.
Mephisto? Which one is Mephisto?
Which
And
one's
I was the one who said Kang's
Dora
coming in
Gorath, whatever. Who
I
was that?
said
Shuma
Kang was
Gorath.
coming. Okay, Gorath was in Multiverse
Gorath.
of Madness was the leak, but
Well,
it was
they didn't call him
Gargantos.
that, but yeah, that's what he looked like. But no, you
Yeah.
guys wanted him in WandaVision. You wanted him controlling things in Falcon and Winter Soldier. You wanted him in Loki.
No, I said Kang was in Loki. I said Kang was in
All of you
Loki.
were like, who's Mephisto?
Hey, I wasn't on the show at that
That's
point.
not, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Quicksilver, that's
Mikey
Mephisto.
knows. I did tell him Kang was potentially.
Yeah.
Everybody, knows
You knew the
Mephisto
scoop.
every
That's it.
moment.
Mephisto. I wanted Mephisto. Me and Earl and I wanted Mephisto.
I did
Earl
not.
loves
You're on
Mephisto.
team. You're right.
Earl loves Mephisto. So we need to. All right. I mean,
So
predictions
for Mando
wise,
season 3.
yes.
yeah.
No, I think we get a big clone revolt type of thing, and I think we see a whole bunch of
Yeah.
clones get
I
wiped
think
out.
it has been leading to that.
Which, to answer Rhett's earlier question about who is this, what age group is this made for, it makes me. It's not for like young kids. I think it's
no, I
for
wouldn't
like
think so.
No, but it's for like
12 to
tweens.
yeah.
They don't like
Teenagers.
Star Wars.
I
No, and
mean,
They're not
They
as
do.
big into
They
Star Wars.
do methamphetamine, and they have unprotected sex.
stop it. 12-year-olds?
Oh yeah, yeah. Have you been outside? It's a mess out there.
It is a mess out. You're right. There are some kids that watch Star Wars still. I mean,
Nerds.
okay, well maybe, but I mean,
Incels.
They are they're 12, Rhett.
this is incels.
Most 12-year-old
Well,
boys are
you know,
incels.
I mean, well, in the literal sense of the word, I mean,
At
it's
least cells.
involuntary. So if they're
I know,
12,
yeah.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying they are. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I was.
No, I don't know. Kids. bands.
Hey, I was
Yeah.
in the band. Wait a minute.
I
Yeah,
was
exactly.
a band too.
I was
I
a
was
choir
not.
kid.
I was not in band. I did sports ball.
I was a trumpet player.
I did
trombone.
sports ball and I was in choir through junior high. Then in high school, after I hit puberty that summer, I was in choir for about 2 days and I went, whoop, my voice doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that was done. There we go, Brian. Thank you.
I mean, look, the next episode's called Metamorphosis. I have no idea what that could be about, other than maybe all the clones start to change. Like all the chips go bad. Maybe all the chips go bad, and a revolt starts. I mean, that
totally. Since Michael predicted it, that it will be totally unrelated to the clones going through
Probably.
change at all. It'll be
We've
about
got
a big butterfly somewhere.
we've
I was
got
going to
too
say,
many
probably going to be more a
episodes.
butterfly, yeah.
Dang it! This will
Like
be
an
Mothra.
insect.
It'll be Mothra, won't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
It'll be a monster of the
Lady
week.
Proxima turns into a beautiful butterfly.
Turns into a beautiful butterfly. See, that's my. There's not enough episodes. They've got to get to the story of like what the whole season's about. I mean, it's
Do
so.
they know what the season's about?
They never had a story.
Yes, they did. They know what the season's about, but they're stalling for some reason. I mean, I don't really know why, but
What I'm worried about is looking at these next 6
yeah,
episode titles. Metamorphosis, The Outpost. The Outpost could be something, but probably not.
Mm.
Habu. And then the last 3 are Tipping Point, The Summit, Plan 99. Those 3 sound like
those 3 probably
They
are
sound
going to
good.
be
good
Yeah,
meaty episodes. Those
Yeah.
other 3 have me really worried that.
yeah. I don't know. Okay, good. Maybe Dr. Earl will be able to
Mm.
bring us some clarity about the Bad Batch.
Just going to drag out this Bad Batch discussion.
Dr. Earl, please.
They really
please,
don't. They really don't want Rhett's take on 1923 going on the air.
Please,
Dr. Earl, please resuscitate us.
Yeah, resuscitate us.
Wait,
Please
where are
help.
we?
Get,
Are we talking
the
about
p-
Bad Batch?
get the paddles out and bring us back to life with Bad Batch.
Claire-
Like, tell us some good things about Bad Batch.
Yes.
I literally have no recollection of this episode whatsoever.
It was the slave mine.
No, I know. It was the
Okay.
slave. There was the dude.
Gonky
shot
was
some-
there.
Huh?
Gonky? Yeah, Gonky
Gonky.
was
Oh yeah,
barely there.
Gonky had a hero moment or something.
That's what Michael said too, and Garrison was like,
exactly
"Wait,
what I
what?
said.
He did?"
Well, not exactly, but he.
That's what I'm saying.
He was in the right
Gonky.
place. He was in the right place at the right
We
time.
also made that joke.
Yeah.
Gonky. So
Rhett. did
yeah.
that.
Making waffles.
So yeah, yeah, there was like a crime lord overseeing a bunch of kids, and they
Yes,
eventually
yes.
attacked him and shot him. Realized that he was stealing their money or something. I don't know.
Shot him. I think
Oh, there's
he went
Ipsium.
over the side of the bridge.
Well, they threw him off
Yeah,
the side. Yeah,
yeah.
there was an
I think they-
Ipsium mine. I don't
Okay.
know.
They tried to
There's-
save him.
Does Gonky
It's so-
marry the
it's-
Zillow Beast?
Gonky is a robot.
It was
A
so
droid, sorry.
immemorable that I have to like dredge it up from
Immemorable.
the back of my memories. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was.
So I guess it is actually memorable, but it's
What do you think will happen for the rest of the season? Like, is this leading anywhere? clone.
Well, so Sid, obviously, there's an issue with
Hmm.
Sid, right?
yeah, we need that resolved. Yeah.
So she's not a good person, probably, and they're gonna, she wasn't willing to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
There's gonna
Sid's
be a
the one
reckoning.
that has the metamorphosis.
Oh yeah, because the next episode's called Metamorphosis, and we were trying to figure out like
Oh.
I'm hoping it has to do with the clones losing their chip powers, or the chip no longer is active.
Oh,
and
all their
they-
chips die at once, and then they all turn free.
Yes,
I mean, that's just
Oh.
not what metamorphosis means. But
metamorphosis to freedom.
That's-
To freedom.
that's not
Metamorphosis to
what it
freedom.
I did it all. There's a chrysalis.
well, they change into
crystals
something
involved.
else.
Mm.
They change into something else.
Hmm.
No, I don't know. I really can't. It'll be some bug episode.
It'll be a transformative episode. of
Well,
the
now wait a
Bad
minute. If Poggle's in the episode,
Ooh,
like-
Poggle the Lesser.
well, he's dead. I guess.
Oh, he's dead. Yeah.
At this timeline.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Batch. Maybe it's his son.
What about
Mm.
the
Poggle
Maybe he's a
the
Jedi.
even
Maybe
less
the Poggle,
Ooh. a
what did
Poggle
Ezra call
Jedi,
the
right?
Geonosian in
the
Rebels?
Geonosian Jedi.
What did Ezra?
Clicky
Wait,
clicker.
click something like that. Yeah, I can't.
Maybe
remember.
he'll be in this episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot that there was a.
Mhm.
It's been so many. I haven't rewatched Rebels.
Oh, that's right. Rebels.
Deceptions.
Buckle it.
Yeah, we got a regular Rich Little over here.
Jacob doesn't know that reference. Jacob doesn't. Rich Little was a
Do you
guy
mean
that.
Frank Caliendo?
Yeah, there you go. That's a
There
bit
we
more
go.
Yeah.
prescient reference.
Now
Yeah.
here's a guy. Yeah.
Yet again, Red is showing his age. So it's Rich Little.
Rich.
He was an impressionist from the.
We've got a real
70s.
Tommy Smothers over here.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I love the Smothers Brothers.
I mean-
They're great.
Says the guy that brought out the '68 version of Oliver.
Oh yeah, Red. I played the Oliver trailer. Well, I tried to, and I
Wait,
screwed
what?
it all the f up. But I mean,
Mikey
I-
didn't even realize it had won Best Picture. I was-
I
I
didn't
thought we were
know.
Oh,
getting
yeah.
I thought we were going back to the Paul Rudd Conan clip.
I did
No.
too. I really
Sure.
did too. I was like,
Yeah.
I haven't even uploaded it.
I was trying to make
Oliver.
reference to the fact that this was basically an Oliver episode.
Jacob,
of
I
The
thought that
Bad
would have been a
Batch.
perfect intro.
Mhm.
It would have been, but I didn't go there.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, this is an Oliver
it's
episode.
basically what it is.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Please, can I have some more slop? I mean, it
More?
was-
They never really asked for more. They were always just like, yeah, this is fine. And then, oh, wait, you lied to us?
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah, well, they didn't
That-
realize.
That Mako eating scene was not my favorite. It was that was
Right.
not great animation.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
It's tough to make them eat.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Maybe just
it's-
don't.
It didn't
Maybe
look
just don't
good.
have
Yeah,
him eat,
yeah,
yeah.
you don't have
Yeah,
to
when he's
do
eating
that.
the fruit.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Mhm.
no. That was Benny. When Benny was
Oh.
chomping out of the fruit, it didn't look very good to me either.
And when Mako took a bite of like the shish kebab,
Say
he's
Benny
just like-
question mark.
didn't. I think
It's-
I
they were
think
the-
Benny is. Yep. Benny's right.
Benny and the Jets. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It was,
Was there a Benny? I don't even.
Yeah,
that
remember.
was
that's
yeah. Benny was his
Main
name.
kid.
The main
Oh, that
kid.
one kid that was.
Yeah, the
one who
thief.
stole the
Yeah.
chip and
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hey, what is
It's
this
that-
Jude Law? What's the name of this Jude Law Star Wars show?
Skeleton Crew. I'm excited for
Skeleton
that.
Crew.
Directed by John Watts.
Mhm.
and
Oh.
apparently will tie in to the
The
Favreau
Mando
Filoni
Spider-Verse.
verse.
The
No, not the Spider
The
Verse.
spider.
The Filoni verse.
Well,
Well,
John Watts.
he
Whereas
did
Acolyte is not. gonna tie
Favreau
into the Filoni
pitch
verse.
this idea to Watts on the set of No Way Home, apparently. So
Oh, okay, interesting.
There you
But
go.
Did he
Acolyte-
pitch it as
Acolyte's
Captain
not,
Hogan?
not attached just because it's in a different timeline, right? I mean, it's I mean, not a different
Correct.
timeline,
Yeah.
it's a different time
Yeah.
period, a different
Time
era.
period. It's like right after the High Republic is ending, supposedly.
really, so how's it tied in?
Acolyte. No, Acolyte.
Acolyte.
You know,
Oh, Acolyte.
Acolyte. Yeah. No. Skull.
So-
yeah, Skeleton Crew is that'll
Okay.
tie in somehow.
Is it a rebel time frame? Pre
Skeleton
BBY?
Crew.
Yeah, where is
No,
that
Skeleton
set?
Crew is the same time frame as Mando and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can't get out of we're just gonna stay right there. Right in the sweet spot.
Don't
Hey, you gotta stay in
worry.
the sweet
Before
spot. Don't
any
worry.
of our heroes from the sequel trilogy were even born.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, let's stay
Yeah, let's stay away from
Favreau
that.
keeps talking and then Ray will show up in the next season.
That's right. That's
no.
right.
That Mando's taken 25 years.
World between
Okay.
worlds. World between
Well,
worlds.
I
They
will
just
say, if
reach
you
in
remember
and-
from the begin, like before we got a single episode of Mando, it was talked about that,
You know-
that Mando will set up the First Order.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
there's a lot of
they may do a little of that with all the
Right.
cloning nonsense that we saw in
Yeah.
in season 2, right?
Yeah,
well,
Grogu.
there's a lot of space travel in Star Wars. What's to say that Mando didn't go through an Einstein-Rosen bridge?
Oh. Oh my goodness!
Whoa, wait a minute.
Well,
now.
there were nuts. Look, when the Force Awakens happened, there were nuts who thought Han. Oh, remember how when Han Solo fell? Remember it was kind of lit up down there. He probably
right.
fell through a wormhole, and he's going to be back.
Yeah.
Idiots do not understand. Not you, idiots.
Brett, I
Those
think
idiots.
it was
Yeah.
worse
Not
than a
understand
wormhole.
Star
I
Wars
think
at
they
all.
said a hyperspace lane.
Mm.
Oh, yeah,
He
probably.
fell into a
No, it's
hyperspace
wormhole. I
lane.
mean, like it's just come on. It's as dumb as Mephisto.
And wormholes, Eisenstein Rose Bridge, whatever that doesn't exist in Star Wars.
Einstein-Rosen bridge.
Whatever.
Einstein-Rosen
It's
bridge.
called World Between Worlds in Star Wars.
It is.
Well,
They're
it's
gonna do
called
it.
wormhole, and maybe
Nope.
that could exist.
Nope,
but who-
nope, not in
It's
Star
gonna
Wars.
be
It's
World
only
Between
World Between
Worlds.
Worlds.
I'm telling you,
It's
Filoni
called No
will-
One Has Really Ever Gone.
Yes.
Filoni's going to do
Because
the world
we have
between
the
worlds
World
stuff.
Between Worlds and can
Yep.
bring
That's
anybody back.
and also Force Ghosts.
Yeah. Well,
Because if it was based in physics in any way, then when they left one planet and got to the other one, they would not
Time-
have aged, but it would be 1,000 years in the future.
Time
Right.
should move differently in certain areas too. I mean, that's
Hmm?
yeah. Time should move differently, and yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
different
based on
galaxy.
How near you are to gravitational objects of substance, and
Look, we don't know how gravity worked a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
no, we
Jacob,
don't.
watch
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Interstellar.
different
It'll tell
galaxy,
you-
guys.
No.
Come on.
No, that's our galaxy, though.
Yes.
Yeah, Interstellar's our galaxy. This is
Mhm.
not our
And
galaxy. Things
that's
work
future.
differently.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
is a long time ago.
This is a long time.
long
Mm.
time,
Gravity
Time
evolved.
changes
Far.
things.
far
fair.
away.
Yeah,
Far
that's
away.
fair.
All right, let's move on to 1923. I guess.
I was thinking of dipping at this point, but I kind of want to see Rhett's
I'm
rant.
not gonna go over the top about it. It's just yeah,
It's just
we'll
what
see.
it is.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's-
I don't know. Before we did, what are our predictions for Mando? Since we are going to be covering that
Oh,
show.
Frozen.
Who's frozen?
You're not anymore.
who's frozen?
Me?
Who's frozen?
I don't know. Nobody's
Rhett
frozen.
was.
I
Garrison.
Yeah, I keep reading.
Red
Any,
overboard.
now I'll be honest. I stopped watching Mando trailers because there was too many.
Yeah,
there
I
was
did
like
too.
way too many of them.
I do
yeah.
that with all of it. I watched the first
yeah.
couple and then I'm
Yeah,
done.
I stopped watching because so I
But
haven't
I
seen
just-
all the TV spots. I haven't seen any of the TV
But-
spots.
As we know from the trailers, for Mando specifically, they only show us the beginning of the season in terms of like,
Yeah.
maybe
They-
the first,
right,
first
they-
3,
they're
4
very good
episodes.
at-
And we're already seeing Mandalore
Mhm.
and all the Mandalorians together at some point. That's going to be very early on in the season. So the conflict is going to
I hope
begin
they kind of get that out of the way, like in two
off the
episodes.
bat.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
I could see it taking a whole season. It just depends on
Yeah, I think the Mando stuff is going to
That's
be
your
really.
arc. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's the arc. I assume
Yeah.
that would be the arc this whole season was.
Yeah.
Was the Mandalore stuff,
Yep.
which is does that serve Mandalorian well? Because that thinly connected villain of the week stuff from
Right.
season 1 was pretty okay. That's
Yeah.
what got people interested in it. It was
And
easy to follow for Gen Pop. That just easy old way of storytelling.
yeah, serial.
Made it a 4-quadrant show.
Yeah.
For a while.
4-quadrant.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
like it.
Throwing the
I like it.
4-quadrant show out. Yeah, because if they stick too much to that's why I'm hoping that they get done with the Mandalore storyline quicker and then move on to Grief Karga stuff, move on to, whatever his name is.
The new
I can't
character.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot of bounty hunting because the nature of like that ship does not lend itself
You
to
can't
effective
take
bounty
cargo, right?
Yeah.
Tie a trailer under the back.
hunting. Yeah, right.
I could see his conflict with Katie Sackhoff being over at the mid-season, but I think
Yeah.
I think we're still going to be dealing with Mandalore.
Yeah,
And,
Yeah, this is a good question, Brian. Like, how does Gideon get released? Because that's the
Oh,
storyline
wow.
I'm more interested in all honesty, than this whole Mandalore thing. I understand,
Well-
like, the main character,
I'll tell you how.
Din Djarin wants to get back in good graces. I mean, he's lost his religion basically at this point because he's been kicked out.
He took his hat off.
Yeah,
he
but
took
that's
his helmet.
stupid. Go with the other ones, the Mandos that don't worry about that, like Katie Sackhoff.
For the sake of keeping Pedro Pascal.
There are only 2 Mandalorians you've met that you know right now who are part of that. All
the rest of them don't do it.
All the rest of them don't do it.
I know
He's
exactly
very-
how Gideon.
Sometimes you got to
gets
stand against the crowd, Rhett.
That's right. That's right.
released. When
He's-
the whole world is telling you you're wrong, sometimes you just need to stand.
And
there
I'm
say
guessing
no.
like the
Don't
armorer or
move.
whatever her name is.
Oh,
I guess
she'll be there.
She'll be back.
Yeah.
I'm
She'll
sure.
be there to give him guidance.
Yeah, she'll
You've
be like the
lost your
shaman.
way.
Yeah, you've
Yes.
lost your way. You need to come back into the fold. Well,
Can you
and the Jon Favreau's character's not dead. He's still around.
Mhm.
So there's more than 2, Rhett. There's
What's
like
his name?
3.
There's 2. The armorer and Vizsla.
John
Visit, yeah.
Is he's
Has
one of the-
Vizsla.
Has
Yeah,
Vizsla.
it's not
Yeah.
pre.
Yeah. Everybody
That
else
is-
is dead.
there's
or
more
just-
for that cult,
apostatized.
for that cult.
I think
yeah.
there's more than that. No, I
And
think
then there's Katie
all those
Sackhoff.
all
and her
those
crew.
people that were hanging out with Mando in the preview. I think those are all part of his sect or whatever. I can't
Yeah,
remember the
you're
term
probably
they
right.
used.
Brian's right. He's a Mando activist
I've been trying to get this joke off now for a
or
couple minutes.
cultist.
Sorry.
The reason Gideon gets off is because the Ranger of the New Republic that was supposed to bring him to jail has just disappeared.
Yeah,
Can't find her.
she disappeared.
That's
He went through one of those worm bridges or whatever y'all were
Yeah.
talking about.
Einstein Rosen Bridge.
He,
Oh,
got,
Rosen.
he got away from Kim's convenience.
Kim's
Wait a minute,
confused.
Simu Liu. There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
He's-
man, where's
yeah.
he?
What?
Oh, sorry. What's that? Emu, Limu, or whatever.
I don't know what you're
okay.
trying to do.
I thought Red almost had like an obsession that he let leak on the extra for a second.
That was me.
Like his chant he does every night for Shang-Chi.
I do it every night.
Last good MCU movie.
Mm.
Well, No Way Home came out afterwards.
It doesn't count. It's Sony.
Sony. Red doesn't count Sony stuff.
So I think the stuff with Carl. What's Carl Weathers' character's name?
Great
Great
Cargo.
Cargo.
Grief Karga. That'll be the first episode. He's going to do a flyby, say hey to
Yeah.
Grief Karga, because there's too much of that being shown in the trailer, and then I think we're going to get off into the adventure.
Yeah, and he's teaching Mando. How to be,
Mando.
he's teaching
Mando.
Mando in the
Mando,
trailer.
you should stay.
Mhm.
He's teaching Mando in the trailer how to be an actor, and Mando's bottom out for acting lessons.
What?
Oh wow, man, this is really not.
This
going
is not landing.
Right,
It's
what?
not landing,
What?
man.
man.
Are you doing an Arrested Development?
Yes, I
yeah, okay. All right, it took me a minute. There's okay.
I just-
Okay.
Where Carl Weathers shows
Well, I
up.
was thinking that
Look,
he's the only
yeah.
one from Predator who didn't become a governor somewhere.
That's true. Well, he's a
Is
governor
Shane
now
Black
in the
become a
show.
governor?
Well, he directed or he wrote the script.
He was an actor
Shane Black was.
in the
Yeah,
first one.
Shane Black was in. He was the He was in it.
Mm.
Oh, Brian, is he
More
going to go to
Pelimoto?
Moss? Pelimoto.
Oh
He
yeah,
just-
that's true. Pelimoto. We have to have a
Ah,
Pelimoto. Yeah.
Yeah, Pelimoto's cute, but like,
It's-
No, she'll be
Yeah.
in it. She will be
Yeah, I
in this
know.
season.
She's cute for one scene.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like. We don't need to. Yeah, too much of her.
Yes,
Mhm.
there's been too
She
much
was
of
even in Book of Boba Fett. She's been in
I know.
all. She's been in every. She needs to be in Ahsoka.
yeah,
needs
she
to be
gives
in
him the
Skeleton
Naboo
Crew.
Starfighter. Yeah, yeah.
She's like R2 and C3PO. She's the one thing that's consistent through all
The
the.
consistency of. Oh, God, I just don't understand that.
Go make Bantha babies. Sorry, that was a little Boba Fett moment.
Go make Beth the babies.
That's about when I was like, no, this is it. I'm
Oh,
done.
gosh.
Not Earl does that when he's treating patients. He spins around. He does that spin around
Yes.
first before he.
That's exactly what I was gonna go into the stew moment, but then nobody bit, and I was,
I was
like,
nothing.
oh no.
Like, it's been so many years since I've seen. I don't remember. Look, dude, when you're
Yeah.
my age, I don't remember all
Stew
that crap.
baby.
I think I want my money back.
Yes, I don't remember.
Yes.
Have an artificial hand. Who was that? That was Buster.
That
had
was
it.
yeah, it was
Buster,
Buster.
yeah.
This is
Yeah,
Tobias.
And it was the
It was bit off by a Lucy.
You got yourself.
Blah.
Yes, the loose seal.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
Blah
was
blah
also
blah.
the
Blah,
guy
blah,
that
blah.
Well, yeah,
taught him
blah,
all
blah,
the
blah,
lessons.
blah.
Wasn't that
Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Blah,
that
blah,
was
Don't
blah
go to
blah
jail
blah.
for
Yeah,
whoa.
the guy that taught him all the lessons.
Yeah.
He taught him a hand lesson.
Yes.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
different guy. Yeah, yeah.
Is that a
yeah.
different guy?
Yeah. That's why you
Yeah.
don't leave a note on the.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that
should.
would always show up and she was
Yeah.
He
squeal?
joins the army. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He
does.
joins Army, not
He
the
does.
Army.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
army. Yeah.
Go see yourself a Star Wars.
Yeah, go see yourself a Star Wars.
I'm sorry. We should do an Arrested Development extra. If
Maybe
only.
we should.
Man, it's so
Maybe we
good.
Travel back to 2003.
It's so good.
Oh gosh.
We're
All
off
right.
the
Well,
rails. Let's go ahead to
let's
19.
let's talk some 1923. Let's we
Bring
gotta
in
give
Melissa.
we gotta give Melissa a chance to dive in here. Let me do this. Let's see here. We'll play that Oliver trailer one more time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Oliver. Something.
Oliver exclamation point.
Let's see.
Mhm.
Yeah. See, I don't know.
It's a great movie.
Exclamation point.
Why
Yeah,
should you go to
let's-
jail for a crime someone else witnessed? Or whatever blah 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 says.
The blah 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 blah.
So,
Yep.
let's see here. Melissa should be coming soon. So I just hope Bad Batch gets better. I mean, I don't even want to call these filler episodes. It's like they're even lower than filler episodes. They're
Wow.
like,
Wow.
well,
Michael.
I don't see the. I mean, we had Brian's talking earlier about real world things involving in a cartoon, and I'm just like, no,
This is
I
an
don't.
important episode. This is
I guess I should
necessary.
not be saying that though, because Guillermo del Toro, animation is just as important as live action. Since apparently that's the way his career is going, because he's about to do another animated film for Netflix,
Really
stop motion animation.
about the World War I or whatever.
No, this is one that he didn't write the screenplay for.
Oh,
he no, this is one that Netflix.
Would watch a World War I movie with marionettes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, in the trenches and everything. Yeah.
that might not be that bad.
Well,
All right, so let's dive in. Melissa will be here in a second, I'm sure. Okay, here she
Mhm.
comes. Yes.
There was some like
Hey-o.
timid in your voice.
Hey-o.
Like it was
Oh, it's classy.
Welcome, Melissa. Thank you for classing the joint up as always.
Reserve judgment on that.
Reserve judgment.
well, that's a fair thing.
So we are talking about
Oh my gosh, what's going
the
on?
season finale.
Hold on, I'm tangled in my own phone. See, I told you to reserve judgment on that classy thing. I don't even know
Oh,
how to
that's
work a
okay.
phone.
That's okay. No
Please
worries.
continue.
How do we want? Okay, let's talk about the
Where did it-
season as a whole first before we dive into the details of the episode. Oh, Garrison,
I'm gonna go.
you're gonna go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured you would. All right, give us your plugs then. Your internet plugs.
You can find me on Twitter at GRYFUN3, GRYFUN3 on Instagram as well, and you can find me on Letterboxd at GRYFUN. I've actually been watching some movies lately.
Yeah, you have.
You can find me on the
Some Oscar
Discord.
stuff. Or Deuces.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on the Deuces. I last
Yeah.
watched Beavis and Butthead do the universe.
So good.
So good.
Amazing.
It's probably somewhat generational since you are Garrison Gen Z
Yes.
as your name. So did you find humor in it, even though that was a show you probably didn't watch much?
There is one segment that is absolutely hilarious. The rest of it's like, okay.
Now,
What
Smart
segment?
Beavis and Butthead is pretty funny.
Smart Beavis and Butthead is funny. Yeah.
Them being the smartest versions of them,
And they're
but
still
also
dumb.
idiots.
Yeah. But one of them scored, so you know.
And they show up in the series too,
Yeah, there's a series that they
which is pretty good.
It was very, very good. All right, Garrison, I appreciate you
All
hanging out. Mando next week, more
Yep.
Bad Batch next week. No 1923 though, so that'll be it. Well, it's just Star Wars all the time next week.
I'm gonna catch up on some Z's. See
There
ya.
you go, man. Have a good
See ya,
one.
Gen Z.
All right, 1923.
Now the adults can talk.
No,
I'm just kidding.
whatever.
Just kidding.
1923. Oh, what you have done to me. I had such high hopes for the season. I felt like in general it started really strong.
Yeah, Yeah, I
Almost
agree.
too many storylines, but that's not uncommon. I mean, that's what they do. B, C storylines. I mean, That's not uncommon. I mean, in a series like this, to have like multiple storylines going on at the same time. The time difference between Spencer and Alexandra to everybody else seemed like, I appreciate that they did that, right? Because it's accurate. I mean, it would take them this long to get back
Get
to
the letters and
Montana. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
letters and all
Yeah.
that. So I appreciate that, but at the same time, we never got to see them get to their destination this season. I mean, I don't know.
that didn't bother me actually. But
That
I
didn't
think we
bother
knew.
you?
I think we knew. I mean, at least I thought that they weren't going to be able to wrap that up in the span of one episode, and I don't think.
Well, yeah, the
it-
way they were going. I mean,
Well,
it
I
was
just
taking
don't
so
think
long.
it would have done their arc justice, and they were setting up a lot of, story building for the next season.
yeah, they did set it up differently than I
going to
thought.
get. I mean, that the best we could hope for was him showing up right at
Walking
the end.
in
Right at
yeah,
the
And then
end.
it became
yeah.
pretty clear in the last couple of episodes that was unlikely as well, and
Mhm.
that's going to be something for next season.
Mhm.
And that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable.
That part didn't bother
That
me
is not
quite
the
as
part
much.
that broke 1923.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Melissa. No. You go.
I also had really high hopes for the series, and I haven't given up on it.
Oh
but
no, I haven't
it was,
either. Yeah.
It was kind of like Rhett's sentiments, like last week,
Mhm.
about how this episode really made him question,
Mhm.
kind of the entire series. That's for
Well,
that
he
episode-
didn't say that. He said all of
Or-
Yellowstone.
That was me.
Red
that
said
said
it made him question all of Yellowstone.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. But yeah,
Well, I'm gonna distill it
Yeah.
down to like he was just talking about 1923.
Yeah.
But
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, I don't think it's neither here nor there, but all that to say, like, I'm just going to piggyback off of that general feeling and go, this episode made me really dislike this entire series. It's not going to stop me from watching it, but there were parts of it that were
Yeah.
really disappointing.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. Yeah. I mean, I think that
No, absolutely.
the Timothy Dalton stuff.
Yeah, what was the why
it's
have that?
unnecessary.
Yeah, it's just
I can't just,
You know,
I
I-
almost turned it off and didn't watch the rest of the
I
episode.
Yeah.
get the message they're sending. Okay,
Mhm.
he's a bad guy. Guess what? I already knew that.
Yeah.
But there
I
were,
knew that he was power hungry and that he valued power and he wanted to exert
Right.
authority. And,
Yeah.
and I knew that already.
you can portray that in so many other different
Yes.
power
Right,
dynamics
right,
without
right.
without
They-
all that garbage, and they already set it up in the previous episode. Like tonight, he could have
Right.
given like really, really crappy loans on pieces of land, and he could have
Mhm.
discriminated against people for, I don't know, being immigrants or pick anything except for this. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessary.
It went a long time. Like it wasn't just a
Yeah.
short
It
scene.
was gratuitous.
I was like,
It was
what in the-
gratuitous, and that's and,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and it
it
didn't
was too much.
Like it didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. It seemed like like they wanted to set themselves apart from like broadcast TV.
It's
Yeah.
like Taylor Sheridan
Yeah.
thinks he
They
just
wanted to take
discovered
it-
Game of Thrones for the first time, and that it came
Yeah,
out in like
ooh,
1952, and
that
he's
was
like,
a big
"I'm gonna
hit.
do
Let's
that
do that."
storyline."
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a really big theme in these last two episodes, right? I think where you're like, Taylor Sheridan either thinks we're all repressed and
Right.
have a desire for voyeurism, or he thinks that we like watching other people. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think this is as big of a draw as you thought, buddy.
Well,
not-
okay, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt on one part of this episode where Banner, or what's that character's name?
Banner Creighton.
Banner Creighton.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
even
Banner.
Banner was questioning everything at that point when he saw that girl come down the
He
stairs.
was horrified.
He was horrified. So
Yeah.
that is at least giving some merit to the fact that even that's too much for this bad guy to see this really bad guy doing something that he was,
Yeah, and he's a
Well-
garbage guy. So if it bothered
Yeah, yeah.
him, it's like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
They had to make him. At first he seemed respectable, and he's an oil man,
Right.
but I felt like Sheridan had to do
I'm
something.
an oil man.
I'm an
An
oil
oil
man.
I drink
Could
your
all-
To make
milkshake.
him
Yeah.
the guy that's like the most vile of all
Yeah,
the
when you-
villains.
It didn't.
I think when you give your villains no redeeming qualities, when they're
Mhm.
such a one dimensional motivation and things
Mhm.
like that, I mean, it's not hack writing, but it's not the best approach. It's not the approach that makes you. It doesn't make you think about
I think
anything.
he writes all his villains this way, though, because even
Well, yeah,
the
I
Yellowstone
think that's right.
villains are that way. 1920, or I'm sorry, 1883 had some nuance to it where,
Well, there wasn't
There were-
really any
there were
like
no
big
villains in
villains.
1883.
yeah, the environment was
it
the
was
villain.
the Earth.
Yeah, the
that-
Earth
that
was the
was-
villain.
It was
yeah.
the challenge.
It
of
was all
getting-
circumstantial. I mean, it was
Yeah,
all like
circumstantial. Yeah,
Yeah, so,
Um,
and he did well on that. I mean, I
Yeah.
adore 1883 just every
It's so
second
good.
of it, except the goofy little tornado. But
And
Well-
Sam Elliott wins the
Sam
award,
Elliott
right?
wins a SAG. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, so you
I'm so
think
glad.
about who's your target audience? If I didn't watch 1923 and
Mhm.
I knew it was part of the Yellowstone world,
Mhm.
and my teenage daughter said, I want to watch 1923, I'd let her watch it. Okay.
Yeah, because
There's
all
no
your
red flags on
Yeah.
the surface, knowing that it's in that Yellowstone world, that would make me say, no, you shouldn't do that. But now, I'd be like, the hell you are.
Yeah.
No, you're not
Right.
gonna watch
Right.
it.
Did
I
any-
shouldn't be watching it.
Did anybody watch Mad Men?
I
And
saw
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
I did not watch Man. I think
I-
earlier
I wa-
you
I
watched,
watched
all
all
of
of
it.
Mad
Yeah,
Men,
you
yeah.
watched all of it.
Well, there were a lot of instances, right? And I don't mean to make it a one-off conversation with just Earl and I, but
no.
but
No,
there's
let's
a
talk. Let's
there's
talk.
a definite there's a characterization parallel there, because
Yeah.
Don Draper, you want him to do well, like you end up rooting
Right,
for him sometimes and
right.
hating him sometimes, and that show
Sure.
had plenty of its own debauchery, but like you said, there were redeeming qualities.
But they're
for-
they're
for
this
that-
really complex
for that character,
right?
and it would
Yeah.
play the traits against each other to where at the end of every episode, you're like, I don't understand if I'm supposed to like this guy or not.
Right.
And with Banner, I think that scene where he was looking at the prostitute was meant to humanize him just a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Because
think you're right about that.
I
he
think
has
that's what I'm
Basically
saying.
been
I
like a
mean,
D-bag the entire time.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wonder if that's just accidental, because if you
Maybe.
think of all the villains on this show, like they're all
Well-
awful. Like
Well,
the
whether
cat-
it was intentional or not, it was successful for me.
right, no, I know,
like-
but
Yeah.
but I guess my point is that Sheridan's approach to this has
Mhm.
been that all those villains are one-dimensional. These Catholics are terrible people.
Mhm.
They have
Right.
there's nothing redeeming
Right.
about them.
No,
the
no.
Marshal who knocked the mother over and killed her,
Mhm.
nothing redeeming about them, right?
Mhm.
They don't do anything good. They don't have any human moments.
Mhm.
The oil guy, that's evil and horrible,
Mhm.
and that's not compelling to me.
Mhm.
And
And it's unfortunate because Timothy.
Banner is an exception. That
Yeah.
if he meant to humanize him that way, he did it accidentally, because he's not shown.
Well,
that
no, because he did
Anybody
write the
else?
line. He did write the line because Banner said something about his family. He needs to go to his family. They're in town or something. Didn't he say something about his
Well, he said
family?
His
wife
wife's
was in
back
town,
in
so he
town.
couldn't go bang
Oh,
the-
your wife. I think he felt guilt.
He
for,
did
like,
feel
what he-
some guilt.
He
Exactly.
didn't feel guilt. He had to get back home because he couldn't be there all night banging whores. I mean,
Well-
that's what it was. That's not a. I mean,
I
he
didn't
made
think that.
whatever honor
Because he was
just
doing it
banging the whore.
earlier.
He was just with them,
Yes.
right? So
No,
It's
but
not
I
like he
got the-
spent some time in the clink and had some
I
time
felt
to think
like
about
there
his
was.
life.
I felt like there was something there, though. I don't think it was accidental.
came
I
out
felt like
rehabilitated.
I felt like he, as a character.
Well, I think he may have thought, oil man. What's the guy's name? Whitfield or something? Or
something like
Donald Whitfield.
Whitfield.
Yeah,
So-
Whitfield.
Maybe when he said the thing about his
Whitfield.
wife, he realized he had something on him. Maybe that's why he kind of stood back for a minute, because
Huh.
hey, I've given you these horse. Great. Oh, guess what? Now I've got something
Mm.
that could.
No,
They
I think
ruin
it was
your
more that my
family.
wife just came into town and I can't be out fooling around. I got to be back home.
Oh,
I don't,
no, that's
so
only-
I don't get- I mean,
I just think
I
it's
think so too.
But anyway, the real problem was that scene with Whitfield was just too long. Like I literally was like working on like computer stuff, and I kept looking up, going, "Wow, they're still going." I'm like, it just got
Like,
kind of
it's-
boring.
it's
Yeah.
still on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's still
It's like,
doing
it's
that
like
thing.
when you read 50 Shades of Grey, after a while, you just flip through the sex part. You're like, oh, that's enough of that. And you just try to get on to the next page.
Is there any story in here? Yeah.
I don't know if it's like
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, yeah. I
You're
mean,
just reading it for the articles, right, Red?
yeah.
you think to yourself, this is a. This
I
is a
mean, look, I had to go
62-minute
back and watch it
episode.
several times to make sure I understood. The scene.
What'd you say, Mikey?
Well, I was just
Go
saying
ahead, Mikey.
it didn't need to be a 62-minute episode. I mean, they
No,
could have
no.
cut out most of all of that. I mean, yes, we understand Whitfield is scum of the earth. We get it. You've said it. He even even reiterates that later in the episode when he delivers. When
They could have even alluded.
land.
Right, they could have
taxes.
just alluded to the prostitutes
been-
off camera. Like they could have just thrown
Yeah.
back a reference to it without having
Exactly.
to show it.
Yeah.
And I think Taylor Sheridan is like more than capable of writing characters that have layers that are intriguing. And it's just like I just don't understand. It was a real
Well-
turnoff in this episode. And
It was.
Here's my
For
theory
me
about
too.
Taylor. Here's my theory about Taylor Sheridan. He's great in a very concentrated package, like the movie Come Hell or High Water, or
Yeah, Hell or High Water. Yep.
But I think when you start getting yourself stretched out in all these different directions, I just think it gets harder to maintain quality. And sometimes you're like, well, and so I don't know if he had a fever dream and he wrote the end of 19. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Right.
what he's kind of done. I mean,
or if he has a writing team. I mean, that's a possibility.
he does. I'm sure
He's
he
got 8
does.
episodes to fill, and he's got an hour. He got 8 hours of content.
Yeah,
to fill.
yeah,
So
yeah.
He's got to write that crap in.
I mean,
So-
he's kind of built himself in a way like what Tyler Perry did in Atlanta with his studio.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got this in Texas now, where he's like creating all these shows. Most of these shows, especially like in the Yellowstone verse, he can just create there on the ranch or whatever. I mean, I don't think he
but with-
goes anywhere anymore.
without having to include the things that don't work, obviously I can't speak for the guy, right? But I feel like there's so many other creative choices you can make.
Right.
And if you need filler in an episode, like the landscape can be the filler. Like
Mm-hmm.
rely on the music a little bit more. I wasn't particularly impressed with the music for this entire
Yeah.
season.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't think it had a job to do like it does in Yellowstone. It's not part of the
Mhm.
storytelling.
Well,
that's
to be
true.
fair, they can't have really any like. There's no.
Well, like
music.
even just the score of Yellowstone's really
what I mean.
good.
Oh well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but they could have, they
Mhm.
could have done like a non-lyrical, like, I feel like it could have played a bigger role. And if you needed filler to fill out the episodes, like there were so many other options.
That's
Not that.
You know, I didn't love it, but one of the episodes that a lot of you liked of Yellowstone was late in this first
Mhm.
half of the season. It was basically just a cowboy episode, right?
Mhm.
Yes, I loved that
You
episode.
guys love that episode,
Mhm.
and there has been none of that in 1923.
We got
Right.
like, I'm not
All-
kidding you, like 25 seconds of them dragging that big wagon with all the hay on it and shoveling some hay out. Like,
Mhm.
oh, it snowed early.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
the context of some of that a whole lot. I mean, they're. I know it's driving the plot a little bit, and some of the weather and the season and
Yeah.
some of that. But man, you can really lean in on that and show the ranch. Instead of just these little fleeting instances of it. It's not.
Well, they've got
and
other
like-
stories.
It's
to
like they
tell.
have omitted an entire character because
Well-
the ranch is a character on Yellowstone.
There you
I
go.
wonder
Okay.
if
That's
the
a good-
reason
Agreed.
they've omitted that is because this is taking place in 1923 and so much of that is like built up and they can't
Hard to find it.
hard to find like
There's a lot of pristine land in that we see in Yellowstone, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
There is.
they can do that. I mean, you just need it's all angles, right? I mean, you can
Yeah,
make it
for
work a whole
sure.
bunch of different
For sure.
ways. So,
Mhm.
I mean, there's certain open tracts of land out there to
Mhm.
use. But, yeah, I feel like that's one of the, and that's really the driving force behind all the decisions. The ranch is why they behave the way they do. And in
Mhm.
this series, the ranch has not been a character at all, and it is missed. So that's it in your gut. I was talking about it last night. You feel in your gut that something is amiss, and that's one thing that it might be. And despite the great performances, and I will say Helen Mirren is great.
Oh yeah,
She is.
Great. Harrison Ford got better.
he did.
A couple of weeks. He looked like he cared in this one.
In this, he was good in this last episode.
He had some good material to work with in this
Yeah.
episode.
and he didn't early. And that was the thing that it kind of turned my opinion on the show pretty early. Was I felt like he got off to a real slow start with it. He didn't have a whole lot to do. I didn't feel like he bought into the character, but he
Mhm.
has come around since then, and that's
yeah.
so. There are positives about the show. I love the Spencer and Alex
Yes.
story.
Yes.
Those are the segments that I look
Although
forward
this
to.
episode was kind of silly. There was a lot of silliness going on in this
Some,
episode.
you know,
with that.
yeah, it was-
Alexandra.
I'm
Yeah.
glad
Well,
they
I
didn't- I'm glad they didn't. They at least, I
He's
thought
a
they weren't
champion
even
swordsman.
at all. So I thought they were bound to have our confrontation here in the cafe, and they at least off camera got out of that and went on, you know. And made
Yeah,
it
I do like he had some restraint. Like I thought Spencer.
Well,
Well, he
and,
tried to.
He
that's
tried
part
to
of
like,
it. I think that's the
I
big
like that.
difference between this show, 1883, and Yellowstone. In Yellowstone, we see why they're fighting for this range. We see the beauty of the hard work
Yeah.
of being a cowboy. 1883, we see that morality of from Tim McGraw's character and Sam Elliott's character,
Mhm.
and we get a lot of that. Like, oh, these are like good people. We get that with Spencer and Alex. We get that Spencer's like a pretty moral guy.
That's
we have
true.
not gotten any of that with Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren,
Right.
Jack, any of those characters. It's just they're just so mission focused that he hasn't allowed any time for those characters to develop anything.
Well, and
I-
yeah, that's.
That's
I
why
think
Harrison
the-
Ford, who's
Go ahead.
should be the linchpin of the
Mhm.
series to me. I mean, he's your name,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Mhm.
He spent half the series in the bed, right? You
Mhm.
know, and it did not give him a lot of room to breathe. I think. Go.
Well, they're obviously going to use him a lot in season 2. I mean, that
Well,
He's
that's-
been doing 2
I wouldn't,
series.
I
too.
wouldn't count them chickens before they had. He's a little long in the tooth.
he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Whoa, a change in the
I'm gonna
Harrison
turn-
Ford
I'm
tune
s-
from
I'm-
Michael.
Yeah,
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
changed my tune on Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford Death Watch.
Yeah.
Oh no!
What were you going to say, Melissa?
I was just gonna say that I feel like this episode, even though there were a couple of corny scenes, like I feel like this episode, the dialogue for Alex and Spencer was way better served than what we've seen previously. There weren't
Yeah.
weird musical cues, all that crap before they boarded the tugboat was really stupid. But the scene where they were in their room on the ship, I thought was like it was really sweet. It was like really
Yeah,
romantic, and
yeah,
it felt
Real.
natural. It felt
Mhm.
natural,
Mhm.
and it felt right for their characters.
Yeah, no,
So-
I agree. They're the best in the show. In all honesty, I mean, they really are.
And you know, there's a lot of. If you try to get a Yellowstone family tree anywhere, there are about 6 different versions of it, right?
Yeah, I don't even think the
who knows
actors
what?
know.
So,
Yeah.
what is possible? And I'm sure it can be debunked easily if somebody's in the loop. But since Jack's
Elizabeth.
wife
Elizabeth lost her
the
baby.
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I think it would. I think we were hard pressed to expect Jack to live through the show.
R.I.P. Dabney
Is it
Coleman.
possible that Spencer is actually the one that carries this bloodline along?
I think so.
Possibly,
because
yeah.
she was sick on the boat,
Yeah.
right? She's
Yeah.
a road traveler. She's
Oh.
probably not supposed to be sick on the boat. Probably pregnant.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I just assume all women, if I see one upset at her stomach, she's clearly pregnant, and that's how women work on TV. So you know, could it be that they're the ones we spent so much time with them, a separate story, right, from the Yellowstone action? Are we doing that because they're ultimately the ones who lead the?
I think
who
you're.
lead
I think
the
you're
I
right.
think you're on. I think
Mhm.
you're
I mean,
on
it's-
top of that.
I think it's
Yeah.
definitely an option.
Yeah.
Well, they need
which-
to.
Which
That's
just
their
means-
strongest. Those are their 2 strongest
Right, like-
characters and actors.
Like
Mhm.
I don't even know if that necessarily means they have to be reunited, though. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, the
Ooh.
Like
baby's
for
gonna
that
get-
story to work.
Right.
Like,
Well,
Andy Coleman's
no,
gotta
they
get out of
wouldn't
her
have her
and-
waving that letter saying "I'll see you in
Montana.
Montana." They
She'll
wouldn't.
get there.
Yeah,
But
she'll
and the
get
baby,
there.
I mean, the baby's got to get out of her and into the Yellowstone at some point.
I have a baby.
That's not.
And she'll be,
British.
she'll be bringing a letter.
I have a baby.
I have to go to Montana. No, she doesn't talk like that. Why?
British. What are you doing?
She's a countess.
Yeah, that's like.
Wait, we haven't had any
Cody.
Elsa. What's her name? Elsie.
That's what you know. What they stopped doing that.
They
like
did.
halfway.
They did.
They
And she's
just
still
like
credited on IMDb on every single
Yeah,
episode.
she's on the. Yeah,
She still got paid.
my
She's in the
baby.
credits.
My,
She's in the
Oh, really?
opening. She's in the opening titles, but she didn't have a voiceover
Well,
in the last couple, did she?
there was, I think, a tie-in. I think in this episode they
Ooh.
mentioned the Comanches and going to Comanche land.
oh,
Her
that's
husband, her short-lived husband in 1883 was a Comanche. They could be going to.
It's the
that
Comanche verse.
I don't know. I think that there's something
Maybe.
there.
Okay.
I know.
Like that's just that's an Easter egg and not something you drive your Like, I don't think that's a huge reveal. People are like, whoa, dude, that's the guy. That's the guy for me. Nobody's
They're
going
gonna have the same character. He'll just be super old. They'll just get Graham Greene or some like.
Oh, we've
famous-
already seen Graham. Yeah, maybe Graham Greene could be like, I remember once I was with a blonde woman riding a horse across the plain.
Okay, so
Yeah,
not
there you
Graham
go.
Greene. Let's say the guy from Last of the Mohicans. What's his name? What's his name? Dang it, I can't remember his name.
Oh, Mugwa.
Yeah. What's that actor's name? They'll have him show up.
Yellow bushy pits, they call her.
No, that's not. She
West
was.
Studi.
West
West Studi. Yeah. They'll have him show up, and that'll be the same character from 1883. He's awesome. I would love West Studi to show up in this show. He is fantastic.
He would be great.
He would be awesome. I'm surprised he hasn't been on the show yet.
I did like they had a couple of that guys in the episode. I don't, Wallace Langham, the original medical examiner from CSI Las Vegas, he played the banker.
I did recognize that guy,
Yeah.
but I didn't see enough CSI. Something did trigger
He's been
in my brain.
he was in a couple of other things too. He's definitely that guy. There's little bit parts here and there.
Yeah.
And he's always comedic. And he's always the quirky. He's like a Sheldon Big Bang Theory type
Interesting.
kind of typecast. So to see him in something so buttoned up and
tight.
serious was like really, really interesting. And then did
Evil
did
banker.
anybody recognize Banner's attorney?
He seemed familiar, but I don't.
Curry
Yeah.
Curry
He was in
Graham.
24, wasn't he?
And he's a bit
Yeah.
player. He's like made the route like Law and Order, ER, private
yeah,
practice,
yeah.
like
Oh,
one
wow.
off
What was his name?
roles.
Everybody-
Curry Graham,
Curry Graham. Yeah,
like
I
CURRIE.
I definitely recognized him for sure.
I had to pause it and look it up because I was like, I know that guy. Where do I know that guy from? But it's interesting, like seeing him bring in just kind of random.
Yeah,
You
just
know.
some random TV actor people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
yeah, people with experience in it. I mean, they do.
So-
they do great. I mean, the bit parts are not the problems with any of these.
Yeah, for sure.
What did we think about this whole boss thing with his wife and this misogynation charge? And, you know what I'm talking about? Like
It was to me,
his-
it was just hard to watch.
Yeah, but I was just like, I didn't know.
Oh, you mean the creepy guy?
No. The guy who was
Zane,
there,
What's his name? Zane or something?
The miscegenation.
Yeah.
Oh,
the miscegenation. Like he was, he was
Interracial,
married to an Asian interracial.
yeah, because that was an
and-
Asian community. There
Mongrel
was,
children.
there was,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he was, and so they tracked him.
That's what I was
down and-
hoping that Roth would look up some history on.
I
that.
did. That
Oh,
law
good.
was not repealed until 1953 in Montana.
Holy
Yeah.
crap!
Wow.
Montana
Hard to
always
believe.
on the,
It's terrible.
on the cutting edge of societal evolution.
Unlike Wyoming, who gave their women the right to vote right off the bat,
Right off the bat.
and the
It's true.
first ones to do it. So
First ones to do it.
1776, huh?
you're gonna make me remember the year 1886.
Whenever y'all became a state, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
That was.
Well, not to pull back the curtain too far, but that's kind of why we did it. We didn't have enough people, so we
Yeah.
said let's count the women.
Oh, there you go.
That's
It doesn't matter how you got there.
yeah. It doesn't matter how you got there. Exactly.
And
You
they
were on the
said,
right
we
side.
also had
You
the
were on
first
the
woman
right side of
governor.
history.
Yeah,
They're like, and we
1890.
still don't have enough people. Let's count the horses.
yeah, I didn't. We're supposed to care a lot about that character, and he was just a background guy that I had never paid any attention to.
Well, that's
He had no character
yeah.
growth before that. We had no reason to be attached to him. It was tacked on because
I'm not
they were
going to
like,
say he.
we gotta
Who,
have something
Zane?
to talk about next season.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
really
going to say
didn't.
he didn't have any character growth at all.
Well,
He's been in this every
No, he
episode.
didn't. No,
He didn't have any
he's
character
in the
growth, but he
background,
had some
just a-
moments.
He just said hello every now and then.
He was around for all of
What did
it.
He just he'd always just threaten the other guys like he was part of the
Yeah.
posse.
There was no reason for us to be involved, to be engaged with him at all.
Well, do you think they're like building? There could be another storyline
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
a
exactly
D
what they're doing.
storyline.
because it's the red beard creepy guy who we found out is like a shill. And
Oh no, right?
And
They're
and
trying
it's
to.
obvious because when I mean, it was the clumsiest way to let everybody know something bad's about to happen to this family. As soon as he said, "Oh, can I have the night off?" You know, I mean,
Mhm,
ta-da! You know, right?
mhm.
Scoop. You know that's what that's about, and it was clumsy. I didn't like it. And that was
There were
hard
a
to-
lot of things in this
I don't-
episode that were hand-fisted, and there was a
I
lot of
think
things
so,
that
yeah.
in the whole season that were just
Right.
poorly written.
Yeah.
It's frustrating though because to go
This
from
was the most uneven episode for sure.
to go from a series like 1883, which was solid throughout. I mean, there may have been some silly stuff, but every once in a while, but mostly solid throughout. To go to 1923 and it just the quality dropped. I'm not necessarily saying that like the acting quality dropped, but the storyline quality dropped.
Mhm.
I mean, you've got some big name actors in the series, and to make Timothy Dalton so one-dimensional is frustrating because he can do a lot more than this character.
Helen Mirren almost through sheer force of her charisma and ability carries this show.
Yes.
pretty much.
It's
much.
not Harrison Ford.
It's
It
her
is
and Brandon
Helen Mirren.
Gleaner or whatever his last name
Yeah,
is.
I-
Spencer.
I'm paying attention every second she's on the screen.
Right.
She's doing great work, and she's really been given some pretty meaty stuff to do.
Yeah.
today.
But and even I pay even more close to attention when her and Harrison Ford are working together because he
Yeah,
does
they have
she draws out
correct.
Yeah.
more than I've seen
better
out of
with her.
him in a long
Yeah,
That-
time.
no. Yeah, it's
That
good acting.
interaction where they were on a porch and she said, I noticed every time you're hiding something from me, it's
Oh,
because
man.
you fear it.
Squeezing
I
the
thought was
towel.
like
Yeah.
really, really poignant. But then, I just thought it was a really sweet, I guess, marriage moment. Like it just,
Yeah.
you can't imagine, like, it kind of just makes you consider, right? Like whatever the two characters, whatever we haven't seen that's gone on before, that they felt like they had to be strong for one another.
Mhm.
And I just really read super far into it. It just felt like a really pivotal, like I was like, wow, it was like a
Yeah.
heavy moment.
And it's
No,
a good juxtaposition of their relationship versus the two younger couples,
Yeah.
Spencer and Alex,
Right,
Jack, whoever
right.
that is.
Right.
Elizabeth.
Sure.
Come on.
Like they're
Jack
all
and Elizabeth.
passion and action and all of these things, right? And Helen and Harrison are not. They are steady. I mean, he's a little bit.
Well, I think they've had to survive for
Right.
so
Well, I
long.
love-
They
I
haven't
like-
had a chance to have
Right.
That's
any,
a great,
fun.
but it's a good dynamic,
Oh,
the
yeah, of course.
difference between those two. So that's something that's positive about the show. I don't just hate it. I'm just underwhelmed by it.
Well, I think we
underwhelmed.
started to get a little bit of that with Spencer and Alex on the dance floor
Mhm.
when the conversation turned and she was like, that was the girl in me. This is the woman now. And even though they were kind of like playful bantering back and forth, it was like, okay, we're married. Now we're a team. It's us against the world, rather than it was just like, hey, I like you because you're hot. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Spur of the moment. Like,
Yeah, I felt
Yeah.
like that part was good. That he was willing to put on the relation. All that dialogue was good.
Well, and I
thought.
did like the
leading
conversation.
leading up until the guy and
Yeah, well, I did like the
It's-
conversation that she had with her friend out on the boat also.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And really
that was
like the stuff that she was saying convinced her friend
The
that it
hunt
was
is
real.
over.
Yeah, I mean the hunt is over. Exactly. Well, all of that stuff and it just the emotion of it. She thought it was just a lustful thing, and she
Mhm.
was able to say,
Right,
this
right.
is
No,
for real
it's
for
more-
me. And
Right.
it led to
And we're
that
married.
character. It led to that character helping in the end to
Well,
to
The other part that other character felt a little scorned herself too. I got.
yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, but in the end, she did the right thing and went to the captain and said, "Look, this is really what happened." Even though it didn't
Yeah,
help the
I did like
situation,
that.
But it was-
because-
But who
once
knew that guy was royalty? So
right, exactly.
And she is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she is, which I thought was like a big, huge, like, ooh, okay.
Mhm.
I did see a
But-
theory about
Ted, what's
next
up, buddy?
week. Or I'm sorry, not next week, but next
Hi,
season.
Hey,
Ted.
Ted.
About
What's going on,
she
buddy?
is going to, her family royalties and money are going to pay off though that loan.
Oh.
they're pretty angry
in
with her.
Northfield.
Yeah, maybe she can get access to that somehow.
Oh,
It was
the
really
family's
nice.
going to pay off Whitfield.
Like,
Is that what you said?
Yeah,
They'll cut
I
her
think
off,
so.
but since they're royalty and rich, they'll be like, "We're cutting you off. Here's $10 million," like they
Right.
did to Meghan
yeah.
and Harry.
Oh no! Don't do that. Wish somebody
No,
would
that
cut me
makes
off.
sense. I mean, it does make sense though, because where else realistically is the money going to come from?
Right.
I mean, they're not going to be able to pay this by the end of the year. I mean, because if it's winter, well, I guess it depends on I mean, I guess it could be January, February. Did they
Right.
ever really say when it was? I guess they never.
No,
really did.
it's not even December yet. They said winter's come early this year. There were a couple
Yeah,
references to
it's
that.
like
Right.
October.
And I
Yeah,
think they did it on
October.
purpose
Oh.
to give themselves a little bit more time.
So really, there's only like 3 months technically for him to be able to have to pay off Whitfield or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
the notion is that it goes pretty quick.
Okay.
They're under the gun, right?
They're under the gun. Okay.
And apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, who knew?
Today, a little bit of a story here. Today, I get a weird friend request on Facebook. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I don't know who this guy is. We've got a bunch of mutual friends in the local community theater group, but I don't know who this guy is. Okay. I don't know him. But I went to his page and looked, and he's got a GoFundMe up that says it's helped me get my home back.
Oh.
And so I was like, well, I got to see this. So I go to it, and he says, well, I had COVID. I had a couple of some bad luck things. I got a little bit behind on my property taxes. So someone bought my home out from under me.
Oh.
And I don't have the money to buy it back. I found the buyer. We did cut a deal. I still don't have the money. A friend bought the house back, and now I got to buy it from him. I don't know. It was just so apparently this whole you get down on your property taxes. Somebody can come snatch it up. Hey, that's a news. Let me stay up on my bills.
Or flip side of that, go find people go find people that are
Get yourself a
behind on
house.
their
Pay their
property taxes.
take that thing out from under them.
That's
get them
predatory
kicked out
and gross.
Like
predatory.
I'll start spanking some whores, man.
That's a good idea, Brett.
So that's interesting that that's still a thing. I just figured that was a thing in like the 20s. I didn't think that was a thing that still was.
Apparently,
I think it's a little bit more complicated now, but
Yeah.
we're essentially like more steps, but the same.
Or that guy's just trying to get some drug money. I don't know.
I was
Yeah.
thinking probably that. Yeah.
No,
GoFundMe.
I think that's a real thing. Now I don't know about his specific situation, but even like evicting people from their homes, like if they're renters, nearly impossible to do in any state.
Right.
Like, so the person that used to live at this place, my landlord told me when I moved in, he was like, yeah, the gal that used to live there, she had her boyfriend come in and we couldn't, she was done, she left, and we couldn't get him out for 3 months.
It's like
Squatters.
Oh,
homesteading.
yeah. It's hard. Squatters' rights and
Mhm.
all that.
Well, yeah. If you quit paying your mortgage, it's a solid 12 months before you get out of
Yeah.
you lose the house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get somebody out. I mean, there are in what is it, California, where people go on vacation and somebody moves into their house,
Right.
and
Right.
the police were like, "Well, we can't do anything about it." Like, what do you mean you can't do anything about it? So yeah, it's where land grab stuff is real. I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. So when you go on vacation, Rhett, I was just wondering about.
Well, yeah. Hey, you want this thing? You come and get it.
Yeah.
Is this a good point or time to say how bad property taxes are as well, or should we just stay away from that?
Yeah.
Amen, but I think we should stay away from it.
That's really paying off.
But
what
it
about
was a
the
good point. The wealth. So that's a good theory for season 2 that
Yeah,
she
I like
comes
that.
in and helps with that.
I was trying to figure out in my head how far back we have to go before while royalty is still marrying first cousins. So it kind of made me wonder if her fiance was first or once
Yeah.
removed. I was like, I wonder if they'll delve into that. Probably not, but it was a fun thought.
Ooh.
Everybody has those real prominent Habsburg chins.
You got to spread the
He wouldn't
genes
have done
out
that in
a
this.
little bit.
Yeah.
I thought the footage of the ghost ship was a lot more impressive than the footage of this one. Like the CGI was really
Oh,
weird
yeah.
and it was really, really shiny. But I thought that whole piece of the storyline was, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's like a rip of the story in Titanic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But from the other side of the tracks, right? So it's like the rich girl with the not rich guy. they have a fight. They're taking him to the brig. They've got him in the, and I always forget for whatever reason that all the luxury liners back in the day, they look the same. They're like cookie cutter, mass produced. So
they're very similar.
It definitely gave you those vibes, like the stacks and the black paint and all that stuff. And I was just thinking
Titanic
the whole time,
vibes.
I was like, this is like a tiny low rent version of the Titanic.
What was it called?
Of Titanic, the
Majestic or
film.
something?
Yeah.
The Majestic, yeah.
And, it's unnecessary. It's okay. It's not a deal breaker, but the CGI, especially on the water effects, was terrible. It was just
Yeah, they probably need to get away from
That's
that.
Okay. Like it doesn't. In this particular case, it's totally irrelevant.
And I think it'll be short lived, but
it wasn't very good.
But it took me out of it. Whereas the footage with the tugboat and the ghost ship, I thought was really impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
but I
think
think
that boat was there in that footage. I could tell that this one wasn't.
Yeah,
Right.
Strange.
Yeah. This captain,
Uncanny Valley.
This captain wasn't quite as honorable as the other captain.
Well, I think he was between a
He was
rock
in a
and a hard
difficult
place.
position.
Yeah, he didn't know like there's royalty, and then here's this guy, and
I loved Spencer's response though. Like, do you question your own authority to preside over marriages? I thought that was a smart line.
That was a cool response. Yep. But is he being like taken to prison or just dropped off and left?
Just dropped off and left. And
the captain said he wasn't going to notify the port authorities wherever they took him.
Okay.
But he just said like they want you off the boat. That's it. So
yeah. Royals want you gone.
We're dinging you over there, and you'll be on your way.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he? France, probably, maybe Spain, Portugal.
That's not
Rock of Gibraltar.
From Italy.
Yeah, no, they didn't. That looked like
Greece.
Yeah, like Malta. Like they weren't very far at all. No, in fact, he said it. He was like, "Hey, if he does this the first day, what's it going to be like after 3 weeks?" They're in the Mediterranean still.
Yeah, they're still making their way across the Mediterranean.
They haven't made it very far.
Yep, dropping them off in Cyprus and heading on, basically.
Yeah. They're not far.
Yeah, I'm glad. I am glad they have a scene where the captain sort of.
Ted is coming in on the chat, man.
No, I know. He's Ted's having a good old time tonight. I love it.
That is okay. I don't know if Ted's making this joke, but that's very funny. If he's saying the British are dropping off their prisoner in Australia.
In Australia. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's a penal colony.
That's great.
Or
Penal
Georgia.
colony.
They could go to Georgia too, I guess. That's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story. Exactly.
I really, really liked the line that he said to the dad about controlling his son. It was like, control your spawn. I kill for a living. I thought that was a really great exchange.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, your sissy swords, huh? Like, how about some Montana justice?" Blah! Like, I loved that.
Have you ever used a sword? He's like, "No, first time touching one." Well, he's an expert swordsman. Well, that didn't go long, did it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he just strong-armed him, basically.
Rich people being experts at something, it doesn't mean they're actually experts at something.
Right.
Yeah.
Something about that guy's thin-lipped, very punchable face. All I could think about was Frank Burns for MASH.
Yeah.
Very weaselly.
Frank Burns is a much better person than this guy.
10 times. It was just like, it just kind of reminded me, and I was like, yeah, it's very punchable.
I see it.
Fantastic reference. I love
you just threw him over the side, right?
Tapped in my phone.
Do we know if the guy made it, by the way? Did we?
Yeeted Britt. No, I think he's dead. He is dead.
Skellner made a comment about, I didn't want to kill him.
Yeah.
No. I mean, they threw the little life buoy, mine overboard, and
I think he hit it too hard.
Yeah, I think he's a goner.
So we had our little Titanic moment, which was exciting.
I thought for a second, I thought she was going to jump off the ship and go. I really thought that's what they were doing, and have her jump.
At the end, you mean?
At the end,
I'm like, why are you climbing up if you're going to jump off?
Yeah. So instead, she waved the letters. I'll see you in Montana.
Well,
I was kind of hoping she was going to try to like
Montana.
Pregnant. Once she's pregnant, her family's going to say, okay. We don't want her to be, we'll say that this marriage actually happened. We'll give some money. There'll be some kind of like changing,
Deus Ex,
or maybe he comes into
Britannia.
England and
Deus Ex Britannia.
Deus Ex Britannia. It might happen.
I kind of thought she was going to try to jump into the lifeboat, but the timing,
I thought that
the timing wasn't quite right.
Ankles
Just
snap.
goes
My
right.
I know
sister,
exactly.
yeah.
Her legs fall off. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
then he's like, "Oh, hey, look, you can't
Because
walk."
Taylor Sheridan,
so we're
like,
gonna
It's like
have
when
to.
take
Bruce
a
Banner
dark
jumps
turn.
out of ship on Thor Ragnarok. He just face plants on the Rainbow Bridge.
Yes, yes. So, has there been any mention of like how long we're gonna have to wait? It's gonna be next year at this point, I'm guessing.
No, I
Gotta
thought it
be.
was summer.
No, that's Yellowstone.
Oh,
No, I think it's next year, right?
I mean,
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, this is 2024.
yeah, I think it'll probably
Yeah.
be 2024. But then there's the rumors that there's gonna be a 1944 also, which God, it's getting a bit much, but we'll see. As long as they have good stories, but this season like suffered to me towards the end, and the whole thing with Tiana or whatever her name is, that's an
Yeah.
uninteresting.
Well, having
storyline.
her reunite with her dad
right?
gave me a little bit of joy,
and Pete,
and
her dad and
and-
Pete.
Pete, like, but that the moment that moment around the fire, I felt like
man.
she finally got to be a kid, and it was really sweet moment.
It was a sweet moment, but then when she broke down crying, I mean, it's pretty heavy
It
stuff
was-
that
it
she
was
had
rough.
to deal
Well,
with.
she's been through a lot of trauma. So.
Yeah,
I hope-
you think?
I
Yeah.
hope they resolve the story well, and like if Sebastian Roche like gets to kill somebody, I'm gonna be
Dude.
so upset.
I'm gonna be upset too. He'll be back next season, obviously. I
just
Wait, now who's Sebastian? Is
the
that
he's
priest,
the head
main-
Father
the head
Raynon.
priest. Yeah, the head
Raynon.
priest.
Well,
yeah.
I do like that the sheriff guy is a little suspicious of this dude. Like he's like asking him. Some
Oh, the
questions.
marshal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
He's got some good underneath.
Marshall killed the woman though.
no. It's a different
Yeah.
marshal.
No, it's a totally
Uh-uh.
different one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
So I like that he's like, now wait a minute, what are y'all doing? You know,
This was a marshal that showed up at the school and started like actually looking around and trying to
Yeah,
investigate
yeah.
what
Some
happened.
questions.
Remember when the father is telling him that Tiana's it's her cousin, right?
Something
her cousin,
like that. Yeah.
or that passed, and she's like, "Where's the other one?" And
Where's
he's
the
like,
bodies?
She passed."
it wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't think it was a cousin. It was just somebody else.
I think
there.
they're related. I
bodies,
think.
bodies. I think
Mm,
there
I
might have
don't
been the
know.
same trap.
I did not pay attention to that storyline whatsoever.
I mean,
Yeah.
the marshal
I don't
was
get it.
realizing, wait a minute, what's up with
Yeah,
these
I got that.
Catholics?
Well, and
We
that's
got us. What's going on here?
I thought I can't remember what he looked like. I thought it was the same guy, which was weird to me because I was like, well, this guy now he's showing some humanity.
Yeah,
He
no, it's a
was douchebag
different.
before, but it was a different guy, so that's fine.
Nope, the other guy's still a douchebag. Rest assured.
Yeah, rest assured, he's still a
I'd hate
jerk.
I'd hate to see any nuanced
Well-
writing out of Taylor
Well,
Sheridan.
Rhett may have a point because was he the one with the other douchebag guy?
He
That
was not that guy.
No,
this
this is
is a totally
No,
different
I
character.
think
different.
those were two like
Three marshals.
deputies or something like that,
yeah.
or
They were
some
marshals.
other
They
And
said
the
they
guy
were
goes,
marshals.
well, what happened here? Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
also
like same jurisdiction, but two
South
all
Dakota
other
and
dudes,
where
but-
the rain, like where Grandma Rainwater was in Montana, are very far apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's true. That's true.
Call the papal posse.
A few hundred
Bring him
miles.
Oh man.
He was not
I
dead,
wish.
so that would have been great.
No, he wasn't, Ted. No, that's that's a
Wait,
different
what did Ted
series.
say? What did he say?
Oh, he
No,
said was the
that's-
marshal played by Timothy Oliphant.
God.
That's a look. He is
That's a reference I
typecast.
get too.
He's definitely typecast. He's a marshal in a lot of series.
Three of them.
Well, I love it.
Isn't there another Justified? Aren't they doing another?
They are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that
That's
set had some
season.
problems. Though.
Season or something.
Yeah, it's in like Chicago or something like that. There was this series definitely showed us that the police could be bought out because all those police that showed up at the end with Timothy Dalton's with Whitfield or whatever his name is.
Were they police? I think they're only
They had
two of them.
badges.
Well, they had Tommy guns.
Don't need no
I
student
didn't
One,
see
badges.
badges.
one of those guys had a badge.
I don't
Oh,
remember.
I must have missed it. I just saw
I
the.
don't remember the badge, but I remember the guns, of course.
I just remember them beating the crap out of them.
Well, that was
Yeah.
a different guy. Yeah, that was a different batch of cops.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, yeah.
Are we talking about
So-
two different things here?
Yes,
Yes,
wait,
but there's
I-
still,
you're
there's-
gonna be the only one.
There were two batches of cops. There was the one that went to beat the random cowboy that nobody knows,
But-
because he married because he had mongrel children, to quote them, not me.
right. They
And,
did say mongrel. Yeah.
And then we had the other batch of people that showed up with Whitfield to say, "Hey, guess what?
Oh, my
paid your
bad.
property taxes." Those were the
Yeah.
guys. I don't remember those having
But
badges.
they didn't have.
Oh,
They
I
didn't have
thought they were.
badges.
I thought they were
Hired gun.
badged. Maybe they weren't. They
Well,
had
they're like
Tommy guns. Yeah.
Lynchmen.
They were. Yeah, they were just
Henchmen?
henchmen.
Yeah.
And could be lynchmen. Who
You don't
knows?
want to. Yeah, henchmen or lynchmen are bad. So.
Yeah, they're all bad. I mean,
What
at this
overlap.
point,
Venn diagram's almost a circle.
at this
One
point, I
straight
don't.
line.
I don't feel. I feel like obligated to continue watching the series, but I hope that they have a long time now to write a good story. I mean,
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, take your time. Although it felt like they might have had a long time to do this first season too. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, they had
Streamers-
international settings for a lot of this season. Like they spent a lot.
Yeah,
of
I
money
think it's going to be
traveling.
more
It's gonna
Montana
be more
now. It's gonna be
CGI.
much more
When they
like-
can finally get one or the two of them there.
They're going to use the volume to create.
I
No.
suspect at least for me there'll be a lot of fast forwarding in the first couple of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get one scene of Alexandra in England
Mhm.
telling her parents, "No, screw
I'm
you guys. I'm
pregnant.
going to
I'm-
Montana."
I'm going to go with.
I bet she's there more than one scene. I think she's there for a couple of episodes.
trying
You
to
think
figure out a
he's
way
gonna-
to.
You think
You
he's
think
gonna
they
come
should
through?
hold her there?
All out to that. I mean,
Mhm.
what fourth in line in succession just died? I mean, was that what I heard? It's
I think they said that.
you know,
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
a lot of there's a lot of baggage that has to be addressed there.
Mhm.
You know, I know these streamers don't release a whole lot of numbers. Do we have any idea what 1923 looks like as far as who's involved, who's engaged on it, and who's not?
Who's
I
watching
don't
it?
hear as much
I
talk
don't hear as
about
much.
it in the world as I
Yeah.
did. Certainly not Yellowstone, which is kind of a cultural thing.
Yeah.
But 1883 had there was a lot of pomp and circumstance to it too, and I don't get that out of 1923. And I'm just wondering.
Do you think maybe that he was trying to make 1923 more fan service, and that's why it doesn't have as much mainstream attention? Or like he thought it was supposed to be, but then he sucked at it.
I don't know
I'm
how in the
saying- Well, I mean,
world like
fan service isn't how I would describe it.
Not
Like it's
fan service, but I guess like
it's such a
I don't know how to
departure
describe it, but maybe he just
from the other two series.
It's a
maybe
bit
he just thought only the diehard like fans of the Sheriverse would, and that's
Well,
why he
yeah,
doesn't
and I think
care.
that's
Well,
all.
that
I,
may be it, but that's
yeah.
a problem. I mean, you
well,
know,
no, I mean, and I
No,
do
he-
like I've mentioned before, like with my in-laws, they don't even watch Yellowstone. They loved 1883, and so because of that, they went on with 1923. Recently talked to them, and they said they haven't been liking it
Yeah.
because it's a very
My
different.
parents.
It's a very
hate it.
different vibe. It's a very, very different vibe than 1883. I almost think that they should have stretched 1883 out to 2
Mhm.
seasons.
Well, they wanted to. They were
Yeah.
disappointed when Taylor was like, "Nope, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
She dies." And they're like, "What?"
I don't look. I'm not in favor of
I'm fine.
stretching anything out. I mean,
Yeah.
1883
story
was
you
a
gotta
pretty
tell.
contained story.
Yeah.
They got there. It's
Like-
over.
like
we got it,
West,
and you know, we got the future in a couple of flash forwards from that show, right? We saw
Right.
him dying, and there was some Yellowstone. I feel
Yeah,
like
they had a
flashbacks
couple of
there
that
too.
Yeah.
So we kind of saw how that all ended, and then you know you can tell the rest of that story with a voiceover and move on. So I
Well-
appreciate
Right.
that they did
a
not
whole lot of
cash
voiceover.
in. They did not cash in on the success of 1883 with more 1883. Now,
Yeah.
1923 may not have been the right answer, but at least they did not drag it out and create a story where there was none, unless you count 1923.
So
Yeah.
for numbers, the only number I'm seeing, take it with a grain of salt, it's probably from Paramount. It's from the premiere, and it brought in 7.4 million viewers across linear
That's pretty.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
for
solid.
the premiere.
It's not
I don't.
nothing.
I would be surprised.
I would
if
venture to
half
say
of
that
them
it
stuck
probably.
around.
You know what? I didn't even look at the IMDb rating for this.
Well, it's
particular
8.5 for the series, which is a higher average than the average of the per episode ratings. Okay,
one. That's interesting.
the episode ratings peak at 9.1. They go down to 7.9, which I think is the penultimate episode. So
This
there's
was an
pretty-
8.2.
See, I don't feel like it's an 8.2 episode. I think it's
Mhm.
lower than that.
Yeah.
I
mean,
think
it was
it's better than the last episode, though. I think it's
better than the
second.
penultimate. Yeah, I mean they definitely packed more into the episode. Yeah, I mean there was a lot of storylines that they, are trying to get.
I didn't I thought they, I think it was expected that they would start trying to tie up some of the existing storylines, but I didn't think it was necessary to introduce like a couple of the new ones. This is trying to do too much.
Yeah,
Right,
the Zane thing
right.
just did not connect with. I think his name was Zane. I don't even know.
Zane, Zane or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
Zane.
He's had lines, right?
But it
he
did
has. Yeah,
Well, but not much. I mean,
not enough
it's
to
like,
justify that. Like that did not. I did not connect to that at all. That seemed very much thrown in as, "Ha, look what you're going to have to see next."
The only reason I connected to it is because Harrison Ford obviously trusted Zane quite a
Yeah.
lot, and we
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
few
yeah.
of those scenes where he would put his trust in, hey, do this.
no,
trust
this is
you to do
interesting.
this.
Yeah, I mean, Ted
he
does
was
make
the
an interesting
rip for
point.
that.
He wasn't the
mean-
rip. That's the thing. I talked about that with my wife. I was like,
Yeah,
he's not the rip. If he was meant to be, then there's a lot on the cutting room floor, right? Because he did not come.
Well, yeah. I mean, not like a character exactly like Rip, but his
He's,
job.
he's,
that's
he's the
what they
foreman
needed
of the
to do.
ranch.
He's the
the
foreman of the
right-hand
ranch.
man.
Yeah,
Right, yeah, but they didn't. They
I
just
mean-
didn't develop that. I mean, I
Yeah.
No,
watched the
no.
show. I paid attention to it, and I was like, "Well, who is this guy?" When they did that, I mean, that's on them, not me.
Mhm.
You know,
yeah.
I did my part and watched their show.
Well, and to be fair, like Spencer's brother, John Dutton, like barely had played by what was that guy's name?
Mm.
James
he-
Badge Dale.
Yeah.
James Badge Dale.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he had like maybe 3 lines, and the next thing you know, he's dead.
He's
And I was
dead,
like,
yeah.
well, I kind
that
of
was a bit shocking. Yeah,
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, I understand why.
he likes to do that. Taylor Sheridan likes to have that, like,
yeah,
bring in a kind of big name, like, or at least a recognizable
known
name,
name.
actor, a known
Right.
name, yeah, and kill them off like they did that in Yellowstone.
yeah.
And I'll say this about the T-1000: that guy disappears into the character.
Robert Patrick.
Yeah,
he's
he is not he is not the T-1000 anymore, and I'm not saying that to be ugly. I mean, like he has come beyond that, and he's it like
He's good.
I don't see T-1000 in
Yeah.
Robert Patrick.
Oh no,
Right,
no.
right.
I've liked his character.
I've liked his
Yeah,
character, and I
whole thing.
wish they would have used him more.
Yeah,
And hopefully they will in the next season. I mean, we've got a lot of story to tie up.
I made this point last night in the Deucecast, in that audio channel with
Not
Michael.
that chord.
Michael
the
was the only
audio.
one listening.
Yeah, the audio channel.
But it to me it seemed like the first like 3 or 4 episodes
Hmm.
they were acting like they only had one season. And
Yes,
then it's like
yeah.
halfway through
They
writing this
figured,
season,
"Oh, wait a minute, we can
Sheridan
do another
heard
season."
that they got a second season. He's like, well, I'm just going to leave what I did and we'll expand on some
Yeah.
stuff in episode 5. And it was like,
That's actually a good
That
perspective.
it's a possibility for sure. Yeah, I mean, or if like he got Harrison Ford to sign the dotted line for a season
Mhm.
2, he was
He
like,
said,
"Oh, well, hey, yeah,
kid.
Guess we'll have
yeah.
season 2 then.
I like working with Helen Mirren. Let's keep this going."
Listen, I got a show called Shrinking I'm doing too. So
Shrinkage,
or what is it called? Shrinking, where he's a
Shrinking, yeah, shrinking.
psychiatrist with Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put me into
Yeah,
bed. I'm
Let me
shot.
tell you,
Put me-
a show I won't star in, Shrinkage.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
think
don't have
Harrison.
to travel very far from my home in Jackson to this one, so I'll do
Yeah,
this one.
exactly.
I just want to lay in the bed for half the show.
I assume that was in his contract, right?
It's his writer.
3 episodes.
You can put Callista just behind this post, and you won't be able to see her. And so it's just.
Wake me up from a nap.
Wake
I'll do a scene.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Callista must be on set to prop me up.
Yes.
It's just-
Can I break my leg in season 2?
Yeah.
I just want to be in a bed the whole time.
He's like, no more riding horses. Can't get up and down.
Yeah,
I haven't-
I read a funny article that.
she did cameo as his walking stick. I thought was nice.
Oh wow.
That's awesome. I did read that Helen Mirren was like not refusing to ride horses. You never see her get on a horse in this, and she's like
always in the
in the wagon.
Her
wagon,
bones
yeah.
would turn to dust, or her bones would shatter into a billion pieces.
Do you guys think that it was intentional, or do you think that we were supposed to believe that she was giving up hope when she crumbled the letter up at the end?
Yep.
I think so. Oh yeah, I think she's in a
Hmm.
dark place because, well, first of all, she didn't know about this property tax law. She was kind of shocked by that whole thing, And then, I think that does mean that. I mean, I think she's kind of like in a bad place right now.
Wait, she who being Helen Mirren's character?
Yeah,
I'm
she
sorry.
crumpled
Kara.
up Spencer's letter, Kara, and threw it on.
So-
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was
I
thinking about
Oh,
Alexandra's letter.
No,
Oh,
not
she was
Alexandra.
okay,
No, she's
okay.
hopeful with her letter.
did not think of that, and that's probably the right read. But last episode, when her and Michelle Randolph, Elizabeth are talking,
Mhm.
she's like, Elizabeth is like, "How are you sending those to him? He's on a ship. Like, how do they get to him?" She says, "Oh, I don't send it to him. I just write it to like that's how I get my feelings out."
To get my feelings out.
So that's how I kind of took it at first, but that's probably the right symbolic meaning to take.
Yeah, I
from
figured
the
that. Like,
crumple.
she's. Yeah, Ted. Is at this
You've
rate,
let
I
us
mean,
down, Spencer.
dude, Taylor Sheridan loves to work with super old actors, and so he's Stallone has a series, and Harrison Ford. So yeah, I mean, look, Clinton is 90s, so it's the obvious way to go. But anyways,
Ooh.
I have a medical question for Dr. Earl.
oh,
Right.
Oh boy.
And I don't mean to. I mean, if you
No.
can't speak to it, then it's fine. But like, do you know anything about the history of the medical terminology for a miscarriage being she flushed the child?
yeah, that was interesting, wasn't
I
it?
got it.
Oh, was that in the show?
That's in
Uh-huh.
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what the doctor says when he walks downstairs.
I think that's
And
probably.
he, like kind of super casually too. Like
Real
she's fine.
crass. Like really, yeah.
Oh, she flushed
She's
it out.
fine. And the baby's
that might
dead.
have been the term during that
Flippant.
season. I don't think that's something we would say.
Well, not now.
Oh, of
but
course.
maybe then.
Of course not. But I was just wondering if you knew that if it was like
No, I've
super
never-
historical or.
Off Parasite.
Yeah, the bloodletting has been finished.
Yeah.
I thought it was just kind of like flippant.
Well, I think it
Well-
points to women were at that era in a large
Well,
Sure.
even Elizabeth
certainly out in
was
the rural
saying,
areas like that. They were meant to bring babies into this world,
right, and
they
that's
did.
Of course,
she
when
even-
like
she even
Jack
said
says
that.
like,
yeah,
Jack's like,
No,
it
that's
happens to
Yeah, I-
horses.
I
I was
think-
like,
Oh yeah, like, maybe you're not
I don't
totally
think it
worthless
was a
just
real.
because you have a
Yeah.
baby.
I did think
Okay.
that scene was somewhat sweet. In
I
the
liked
sense,
that scene.
in
he
the
was
sense
trying the
that-
hardest he could. We know he's not
He
that
was.
bright, and
He
it's
was
just the
trying the
cultural
hardest
of
he
the
could.
time. Like,
Yeah, exactly. He was trying as hard as he possibly could because she was like, "What if I can't even give you a child?" And he was like, "That's fine. Look, we're good."
That was nice. Jack
yeah,
was,
I
Jack
thought
was
that
really
was
sweet.
good. I mean,
Which means he's probably going to die.
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
means he'll probably.
You know,
die
anytime
a
there's a
violent
sweet moment, I was thinking
Yeah,
any second
yeah.
now they're going
death.
to
The Tommy
shoot.
gun will be
Yeah,
he'll-
stuck through
I
the
will
window.
say-
Well, that kid can't. He's not going to be the
the
patriarch.
lead. No,
Of-
he
No,
won't
but
be.
I
it
will-
would be really
Ain't
funny
got it.
Maybe he's
is
dead.
if
and he
Kevin
told him.
Costner is done with Yellowstone, and they now know that they write it back in so Jack no longer dies and Elizabeth has another kid. And that kid eventually gives birth to another kid who gives birth to Matthew McConaughey, the uncle.
Oh,
No,
I'm
now the
long-
most recent rumor is
I'm the long lost brother.
Kurt Russell. Like they've moved on from McConaughey,
Mm.
and I read something about Kurt Russell today.
Well, that's
And
not
now it was
Either
one of those
one.
clickbait sites.
I-
but, I mean,
Hey,
I
grow
think
that,
that-
grow that tombstone mustache back out.
yeah, he could.
I think that between the two series,
DJ
like
Qual becoming as a
Walls. speaking of Callista Skinny,
yeah.
DJ
Yes.
Qualls
Oh my
is, yeah.
Gangly is how I would describe him.
Go ahead, Melissa. I'm sorry.
we're having too much fun. It's almost too serious.
I didn't
but,
mean to flush your
No,
comment.
go ahead. Let's be serious. Go ahead.
Oh, Earl.
Sorry.
God, that's
Jeez, Earl,
terrible.
what the heck?
But I laughed at it. See, so but
I
I-
could see doctors saying that. I've heard worse things doctors have
I'm
said.
sure. I'm sure.
And this is a doctor in the 20s. The guy
Babies,
with a bag.
baby,
I mean, what-
infant mortality
Completely
was
different
very
terminology.
well. The infant
Yeah.
mortality rate in America
Mhm.
was so much different then, and so to lose a baby was not
Of
like
course.
Common.
it was
Mhm.
pretty common. So especially because she wasn't that far along, I don't think. Right? She was probably
Right,
still
right,
pretty
right.
early, probably
And
first.
the
trimester.
original take, he said,
But again, I would not
Grab-
use
grab it
flush
right
is
out.
not a great.
no, he did not. Really.
It's-
yeah, that was the original script.
we're going to make this.
I
even
think you
worse.
need to
I'll
read an
stop.
anatomy book, but
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
I didn't
not-
say it.
Why?
it's not where babies come
Is that
from.
where the baby comes
I didn't get in there in the first place.
from?
Stop it. All right.
It's just going to go off the
Melissa,
rails.
let's have a
Melissa,
serious
give
moment.
give us some time.
Let's make this the final thing so we can
well,
we can stay up for Mandalorian. No.
3 more hours.
3 more.
I was-
No, I can't. No.
You can do it.
No,
I was
I'm
just-
not doing it.
Take a nap and do it.
No.
you can take a nap this late. You're doomed.
I know, right?
I was just gonna say that we discussed a lot throughout the past, this first part of the most recent season of Yellowstone, how the characters are written. They're written in an impossible way, like they're written into a corner.
Mhm.
A lot of them don't have dimension, like the the hippie liberal vegan
Oh
house
yeah,
arrest,
in
right?
Yellowstone,
Like
yeah.
right in Yellowstone. But I think in this series, he's done a lot better job, at least with the characters that aren't just heinously evil,
Mhm.
of giving the
Mm.
viewer something that's relatable.
Mhm.
Because the feeling of being inadequate for not being able to carry a child is something
Mhm.
that women have felt, and it continues to this
Right.
day.
Right.
Mhm.
And it
No,
was
that's true.
very hard for me to watch that scene and not feel the weight of that
Mhm.
and feel that relatability. Whereas like there's nothing that would draw me to Beth. Like in real life, we probably wouldn't be friends. I was just thinking about like the
Right,
parallels,
right.
the parallels between.
Hmm.
It just seems more relatable to the human experience, I think.
Yeah, I think the women on 1923 are better served than the women on Yellowstone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Totally.
Oh,
100%.
yeah. That's.
I mean,
true.
it's like
true.
it's like Sheridan goes to extremes though. Like it's interesting because he's gone so far to the extreme and started all of a sudden writing his female characters better than some of his male characters. I mean, it's interesting. I mean that he.
But then he
chose to
turns
do that.
around and he puts them in an S&M moment with
Oh, this is
Whitfield,
true. This is true. I mean,
which
Yeah,
again,
Yeah. Except for
I
that
mean,
one guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
You know,
Yeah.
after I was just I watched that scene 10 times. I was just so
Stop it,
appalled.
Rhett. Stop it.
And the ninth time I said, "This is wrong."
You were so turned off that you couldn't turn it off.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Shenanigans.
closing thought on it.
Yeah.
is, I didn't hate my time invested in it.
Right?
I thought it was mid, to borrow a phrase from my
Wow.
kids.
That's very.
You can
tough.
tell you
Very-
have a teenage
Garrison
daughter
would be
when you
so
use that
proud.
Yeah.
mid.
So, like I say, I didn't hate it. It had its moments. There were some great,
Yeah.
Helen Mirren is magnificent in it.
Yep.
I thought it was a considerable step down in quality from 1883
Oh yeah.
and less entertaining than Yellowstone.
Yeah, Yellowstone at this
see that.
point is almost like soap opera esque.
It's like Dallas. Like
Yeah,
if you watch it, 'cause
become
you-
that.
for the
It's-
same reason you watch Dallas.
Right.
But at least you have like 4 seasons ahead, where you know what to expect.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're
it's been
watching it for a reason.
building. I mean, what more can you really do with a show like Yellowstone than go to the extreme, like it's a Dallas or whatever? I
Yeah,
mean,
and when-
you
and
got to
they've
keep
written-
going. And
you use Beth as the example. Like she's gotten so predictably extreme.
yes,
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not even shocking anymore. Like there's no
Mhm.
that part for me is about the least interesting part of Yellowstone
right.
because you just know absolutely what you're going to get as soon as she's on camera. That to me is a little boring.
Yeah, and the problem with doing that also is it makes you more interested in some of the B characters that aren't really like. It
Mhm.
makes you more interested in like what Colby and Ryan, like it makes you interested in the bunkhouse people, and you're like, get Beth off the screen. I want to know more what's
Well,
going
that's
on with
really.
them.
I mean, that's not unfortunate. That's to Yellowstone's credit that they were able to develop so many characters. That's a big
Right.
cast, and they have
Yeah.
developed. They've
Mhm.
had 4 seasons to do it, but they have developed all those characters.
Yeah.
And I did not feel that out of 1923. I at least got, you got the big 4, and then it's a pretty sizable drop. Even Tiana.
They're wanting you certainly to care about what's happening, and I think they did a
and that
little
was
bit better in this episode.
Also ham-fisted and just constant stream of the same sort of abuse and
Sure.
Mhm.
all this it's not enjoyable. It's not whether you relate to the character or not. You don't want to see more of her because it's not a storyline that I want to
It's-
experience.
It's really
Yeah, you-
difficult when you're just looking forward to the episodes where she doesn't get the crap beat out of her, and
Yeah,
that's
right.
that's
Right.
the
Yeah,
if
exactly.
that's the high point of your experience, then the bar is really low.
I
Right.
agree, and
That's fair.
and I
That's
don't,
really
and I
fair.
don't. I mean, like the caveat is, I don't mind drama, and I don't mind strife, and I actually like tragedy. I mean, I enjoy tragic stories, and I'm not
And
enjoy,
whimsy.
but I appreciate. Like, I mean, there are a lot of great stories that end on a down note. But
It's a soundbite.
something about these that they don't.
I thought you enjoyed
Well,
whimsy and fun and
Well,
whimsical
No,
humor.
I
Yeah.
don't like whimsy. I never like whimsy.
I was just trying to
So
show
I'm,
you, Red.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked, in all honesty.
Now go ahead, Red. I'm sorry. I didn't
Yeah,
mean
no,
to
You
interrupt.
ruined his train of thought. Way to
Yeah.
go.
I don't remember what I was saying, but I really have no idea.
It was all good.
You were saying even you can appreciate tragety, but
like
probably
tragedy.
something like not when it doesn't move a story
Yeah,
or
but those couple of stories lines are like I know we.
Okay, she's
get it.
getting beaten.
Like,
Okay,
we-
all right, there she is again. She's
I
getting- okay.
understand why
It's terrible.
her offspring, Rainwater from Yellowstone. I understand why he would be bitter now. You've
Mhm.
made the point.
Right, right.
Let's move on, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
just
yeah.
so much sniveling and abuse that I can take. It's just not.
Oh man, the internet doesn't want him to talk.
Oh man, it's shutting them down.
A couple
Yeah,
of
you
small
got-
victories.
Wojcicki is not
Yeah.
happy with you.
Rajitsky.
Yeah, but you
right.
won a few small victories, and I know she got to kill. They managed
Right.
to kill 2 or 3 of those guys, and that's great.
In a super
I
violent way.
I applauded her for that.
Yeah.
But it's just the ride there was just not. It wasn't worth it to me.
Well, I think you have to presume a little bit more competence from the audience. You can just beat him over the head with like
Wow,
Right?
That's,
Yeah,
that's
that,
good.
that goes back to the Whitfield character. Like I understood he was a power hungry madman
Yeah.
before.
With the
I
first
didn't
scene,
need
really.
all of that.
Yeah.
No,
And
right,
it's
right.
Like I'm not stupid, and I don't think most of your 1923 viewers are stupid.
No.
It's not a stupid. I don't think a lot of stupid people have Paramount Plus. I just don't. They're not. They got Netflix. And
Yeah, the
they got
stupid people are on
Hulu,
Netflix.
and
Yes,
their
the
wife likes
people
to
are
buy shoes, so they have Amazon Prime, and but they're not doing the deep dive on all these other ones, right?
No, no.
I will say though that werewolf show looks pretty dumb.
the one
I
on
don't know if you've
Paramount.
seen previews for that.
Oh, with Sarah Michelle Gellar
Sarah
in it?
Michelle Gellar.
Yeah,
No,
I'm not
no,
saying
I-
Paramount programming is especially smart. I'm just saying that it's not
Sheridan
the
is
dregs of
typically-
society moron. It's not the sub 100 IQs who are watching the show to begin with, but they're treating us like we are.
Right, right. That's fair. Okay. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say.
There are a lot of sub 100 IQs out there. Okay,
Yeah, there are.
some sub 90s. I know some sub.
I flip burgers for a living.
Yeah, you definitely do. No, I'm just kidding.
Whitfield was wrong with his statement about tourism in 100 years or whatever he said will be the number
Oh.
one.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
would
he's
people
just
really
wrong.
be thinking like that? I mean, I don't know.
Well, and it's petroleum refining, gasoline and petroleum bulk stations, and lotteries and Native American casinos. Those are the top 3.
It
It's
was
not
Whitfield.
tourism at all.
See, Whitfield, you're wrong.
Whitfield's an idiot.
There's line in the pockets of rainwater family.
Yeah, exactly.
One day, people will ski on this mountain. Yeah, like they don't know about all that. That doesn't even sound like Whitfield. I don't
Skiing
know.
was definitely around in the 20s.
I would think.
Oh
so.
no, I know. Yeah,
I'm sure it was. Yeah. I
probably
mean,
wasn't like
I didn't have all.
Whitfield is a
have all the
futurist.
fancy stuff.
He's thinking.
Maybe he's from the future. Maybe we could do a
Wormhole.
Kang.
Louis could be the same character from the
an
Rocketeer.
Einstein Rosen Bridge.
Yeah.
It's back.
All right,
Garrison
Roth.
was excited about that.
Let's wrap this thing up. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yep, Roth from Wyoming on the Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, in the Discord all the time. The podcast is the Good Day for a Movie podcast. This week's episode is Captain America: Civil War with
Mhm.
David Dollar.
know
Tomorrow
him.
we'll be
Great.
live on the Good Day for a Movie podcast YouTube
Yes.
with Tate and Michael Knipp and Garrison Rifen.
Oh,
Well,
And we will be
rack
talking-
that bunch of
2023 Oscars.
talking about some Oscars.
What?
Nice.
My Super Bowl, baby. I'm
Yep,
into it.
What time?
9 Central.
9 Central. Yeah.
Yep.
Tomorrow night.
Very nice.
9
Tomorrow
in
night.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the only time zone I give a crap about.
That's right. It's the best time zone, really.
Wrong, because I get Mandalorian at 1 a.m. You guys have to wait up. Wait till
You
Tuesday.
son of
Okay,
a-
you
Oh, well, and then California, of course, gets it at midnight. Those
Yeah,
are
well,
the biggest jerks on the face of the
As
earth.
Rhett said last week, we hope that California slides off the shelf.
It's West Coast, more like worst coast.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That's right. Amen to that.
Look at West Coast.
Rhett, can anyone find you on the
I don't know how
interwebs?
to do
Yeah,
that.
no, I've started a new website.
Mhm.
It's a whoiszane.uz.
You see,
I had to set that domain up in Uzbekistan.
Who is Zane?
Is it Billy Zane?
That's what this show. He should have
Billy
been on
Zane
the
is here.
I went to high school with a Zane McFall.
Zane
Wow.
McFall?
It's a Western name.
I fired a
Offensive
server
lineman.
named Zane once.
There you go.
Yeah, people named
Yeah,
Zane.
they usually
It's
get fired.
Zane,
they
yeah,
usually
Zane.
get
You don't want to
Wasn't a good start.
Zane was a big old country boy, offensive lineman for our football team.
Whoa.
Okay. Meat and potatoes, huh?
Mhm.
Dr. Earl is off the grid completely, except
Nowhere
for
to
the
be
Deuce
found.
Cord. You're
Yes.
occasionally hanging out in the pretentious corner of the Deuce Cord. Have you seen any pretentious films yet recently, Dr. Earl?
Cocaine Bear? Is that considered
Mm.
pretentious?
I need to go see that.
Yes. Yes.
That is the most pretentious
It's
film.
I have not seen
Terrence
it yet.
Malick directed it. It's just a bear
Yeah.
walking through wheat.
Walking through the wheat,
Yes.
brushing the cocaine off the wheat. and then-
Swinging. There's a little swing for the bear to sit
Yeah.
on.
Tire swing.
The tire swing. There's always a tire swing.
Oh man, that would be glorious if he had
Yes, it
directed
would.
this. No, I've not done. I've done all the Oscar stuff from last year. I guess
good.
some of that's kind of pretentious, but
Yeah, women
like
talking.
Tar,
or as
Tar,
Mark Wahlberg would say, women are talking. That's what
Tar,
Mark- that's what
and
Mark Wahlberg
but I
would
liked.
say.
There was a lot of good stuff. Triangle of Sadness. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's got
Oh,
a
yeah.
little edge of pretension, but
That does. That does. Melissa, what is up for food for thought? We got an
yeah.
episode in a
I've
couple
been
days,
seeing
right?
ads for food for thought.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
The price was right. So you can find me at That's Miss Chef, Twitter, Facebook, in the Discord, and on Letterboxd. Most recently, I watched Oblivion and All Quiet on the Western Front this weekend.
Nice.
I'd never seen that. It's like
Good.
this is
I have
missing
not
from my
seen
Tom
Oblivion
Cruise
Yeah, Oblivion's not half
you
bad.
know, group
I
of
may have
movies.
seen
I
it when
really,
it came out, but
I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, I
Um,
thought you said a Bolivian. Like you watched.
She watched a Bolivian.
Oh, a Bolivian. Okay.
But no, she said Oblivion. Okay, sorry.
Watched an
Oblivion.
I was like
Oblivion.
Argentina, 1985.
And then-
No, a Bolivian. Oh no, Oblivion. Okay.
the
The
end of Butch Cassidy.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
The Food for Thoughtcast, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Food for Thoughtcast and foodforthoughtcast.com. The second episode drops on Thursday. The special guest, Stephen
What?
Gonzalez, he is regional chef for HEB.
Oh, right on. I'm
Let me
excited
give
about
you a 5-star review right here.
that.
Your first episode. First of all, I have never in my life wanted anything as bad as I wanted some roasted poblano corn chowder
Toothpaste.
immediately. I wanted some bad. Okay, like I followed. Anytime you would say a word about a food or a dish or a tool that you were using, I would look it up. Right. So now I'm looking at all these bowls of corn chowder, and I know
That's
yours was
amazing.
even better. Like I'm listening. I'm like, oh, she just did this to that. That beats this. What I'm looking at, And I was just.
I love it.
By the end,
I love it.
I was entertained by it. I was interested in it. I liked the story. I liked that I even got some cooking tips while you were telling it. It was a very good podcast, and I am looking forward to the next one.
And he's definitely
That-
never heard a very good podcast.
That is
That's the first one I've
so.
ever listened to. But, no.
Oh, he would never
That's
listen to this one.
that's so kind. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh,
It's
no,
true. It was
it
very
was-
well produced. You did a great job.
Yeah,
It was
very
Well,
fantastic.
thank you all very much.
Who gave
Yeah.
you your first 5-star review, though?
This guy.
Oh,
This
that's
guy.
Uh,
Right there.
you actually did
Oh,
the
he's
did the
drunk.
deed. You went on to see. I don't do the Apple thing. I don't have an
Mhm.
Apple. I don't do the iTunes. So I guess I could do Spotify, but I don't do that either. I don't do anything.
That's
that you can
okay.
review.
That's okay. There's a link right on the Food for Thoughtcast website where you can leave an independent review there.
Oh, without the okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll see if I can come up
You
with
can
something.
take a full page ad out in Variety.
I know. I guess so. I need to. Really appreciate everybody hanging out. Ted, you've really enjoyed yourself in the chat.
My
I'm
gosh,
happy for
Ted
it,
is
man.
brilliant.
I mean, I love it. I love to see it. Brian was here earlier for Star Wars, as he always is, and so that was a good time. Appreciate everybody hanging out. We made it through yet another Yellowstone show, so I guess summertime is the end of season 5, and who knows if we're getting a season 6 at this point. The rumors are weird, so
Wait, do we
don't.
lose Melissa now? She's not going to be here for our Star Wars talk.
He doesn't do the Star Wars. Do you
Well,
do Mando?
I really like Mando a lot.
Okay.
So yeah,
well,
watch it
okay.
till the end of that.
If you do Mando, then we can bring you back for. I didn't know you watched Mando. I
Mando.
didn't know you watched it.
Baby Yoda is cute.
Baby Yoda's cute. Oh, look at that! I just
Ah,
yeah,
that's adorable.
where he goes.
Oh,
yeah.
Grogu.
Nice.
Wherever he goes, I go.
That is
Aw.
cute.
I love
Not
of
very
course,
many of
look,
these were made.
Melissa, you're always welcome. If you're watching Mando season 3, you're always welcome to
I
join
appreciate
us
it.
for that if you are available. So
Awesome.
no worries there at all. So see you guys next week for more Bad Batch, episode 1 of Mando, and we'll keep the Star Wars train running until there's a Marvel show, and we'll see what happens then. So talk to you guys later.
Good night.
Good night.